Oh, what's up, everybody? Terrell said he was going to mute his phone, so that wouldn't happen. But
what happened?
I heard the vibrate. I heard the vibrate when we went live. Yep.
Oh, what anyway. The fuck? Oh, I guess because it's on the damn table.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Anyway, that was a fail. Welcome to the 124th episode of the Juice is Loose, and guess which one this is? It's finally here. The Switch Predictions Podcast. Now, I forget when Nintendo announced the date of January 12th. I want to say it was early December, maybe.
Was it? I thought it was before that.
It was
November.
Early November.
Yeah.
Either way, my plan was to always do the podcast, or this podcast, the last Monday before the event. And when everyone else did their predictions back in October 21st or 22nd, I wanted to wait so that we wouldn't have been forgotten all our predictions by the time the event actually hit. So, I mean, felt like a long time coming. We're here. It's exciting. And yeah, this whole podcast, we're going to be giving predictions and theories and all that based on just our own feelings. This podcast is going to be above and beyond rumors when it comes to our predictions. So, yeah, if you guys got that reference, bravo. So anyway,
I'll give a golf clap later.
This is not based, I'm not going to give a single prediction based upon rumors. I've actually tuned out. I've seen there's new ones for release date and price, all that stuff. I haven't even watched a single one of those videos. I've pretty much tuned all that nonsense out. So I've kind of had my own thoughts and predictions for the last 2 months. I've just been holding them until this podcast. So we got we're short a guy. Red Knight's supposed to be here. I don't know where he is. I
thought you meant T, man.
Yeah,
the T's missing, so he was going to fill in. And then on Friday, I'm going to have Andre, the game idea guy, jump in and give our impressions of the Switch sometime Friday night. I slated it for 9 p.m. Eastern. I don't know exactly. Just kind of threw that time out. But yeah, that's next Friday. So let's get into the predictions. I guess we better do the introductions in case there's a new listener to the podcast. So why don't we start with Rule of Two?
Yeah. My name is Rob. I run the channel Rule of Two Review. And man, a Switch podcast. I didn't even think we were going to get here. So excited.
Yeah, it's felt like it's been forever.
Seriously.
But we're here 3 days away. 3 freaking days.
3 days. Before the whole weekend is filled with Switch goodness.
I know. Next up, we got probably the most excited guy here. That's Robert.
What is up, guys? It is Robert of Gaming with me and the Switch. I can't believe it. I mean, here, people. It's time. I mean, guys, the Switch. Yes.
And last but not least, we got probably the least excited to buy a Switch day one at this point, and that's Terrell. What's up, man?
Yo, yeah, because everyone's at a fucking 10, and I'm sitting over here like a 9. You're like, what's wrong with you? You should be at a 10 too. Hey, everybody, what's up? It's Insane Games here. Yeah, I like Nintendo games, and I think you guys like Nintendo. So we're just waiting for some Nintendo stuff to pop up, which we only got like 3 days left. So come the fuck on.
And I want to say what's up to the Triple J Zoo. He just posted in the live chat. He's been watching us since the 60th podcast, 60th episode. So thanks for the dedication, man, and appreciate that. So yeah, we got a lot of predictions to make and discussions. So each kind of little prediction we can discuss it as long or as short as we want to. And like I said, I'm not going to base it off rumors. I haven't watched the last week and a half's worth of rumors. So the first thing I had slated, and I had these planned out for weeks. So the length of time of the event is how I want to start this out. And so I have a over or under situation. So it's going to be 60 minutes over or under. So is it going to be 59 minutes? Is it 1 to 59 minutes, or is it going to be 60 to beyond? I picked over. I think it's going to be over 60 minutes. I don't care what anyone said. And I'm also going to not include the little 30 minutes of going live that, precedes, the actual event on YouTube. So once it's actually cut and that's cut out, that's what I'm saying. Ms. T, he said under. He thinks it's going to be under. So we'll start with Rob. What do you think the length of time is going to be?
Well, I'll say that I don't think it's crazy for someone like T to say that he thinks it might be less than an hour. I think that for some reason the 45-minute time frame doesn't seem impossible, but I sure don't think it's going to be that. I feel like it's going to be over an hour or longer. It just feels like it has to be.
Okay. How about you, Terrell?
Yeah, it's the same thing, an hour or longer.
Robert.
So I would love it to be like 7 hours, but I think it'll be under 60
Jesus
minutes.
Christ, man.
Ooh.
Yep.
I think they might plan it for under 60, but it's live and there's
That's
translating.
true.
There's a lot of translation going on. I just think it's going to be. So what do you guys think is a good amount of time beyond what you think it's going to be? But what do you think would be an ideal, like realistic length of time for all the information they got to give out? But we also have the Treehouse event the next day showing all the gameplay. So what do you guys feel is a good amount of time for Nintendo? If they were asking your opinion, like how long should this be? So what do you think? Whoever wants to go first.
I would just say somewhere between an hour and an hour and 30 minutes. I mean, it's about, to me, the announcement of a new console is about on the same tier as like an E3 press conference. And usually those only last somewhere between an hour and 30 minutes, unless you're Sony, in which case you're there for 6 hours. So, I mean, I don't see it lasting any longer than that, especially when you tell me there's a gaming stream for I don't know how long the next day. They're probably just kind of like, here's the game, here's some trailers, here's some specs things, just release date, that kind of stuff. And yeah, I don't think that's going to take more than an hour or an hour and a half.
Yeah, I think it could be one of those scenarios where because of the translation and given a lot of info, it could maybe feel longer than it's actually going to be. And then who knows how they're going to, which we'll talk about the format next, but who knows exactly how they're going to have games, show off games and, and stuff like that. So I would think I wouldn't want it to be longer than 90 minutes. I think, hour and 15 to an hour and a half, probably pretty good. I mean, but if they can get it all the information out in less, I guess, they know best. But I think for people, to really get a filling feeling about this event that we've been waiting for, I would hope it's not going to be like 20 minutes, half hour. So I think it's anything over 45 minutes probably be good. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
Robert, if you want to go, share some thoughts.
Well, I think the perfect time slot would be like an hour, and I would like it again. If it would be like an hour and a half, I feel like maybe be stretching some people's attention spans. I think a lot of people would watch it anyway, but I think you kind of squishing it to an hour, maybe even less, and I think that's kind of the sweet spot for a lot of people. I feel like.
That's true, because that trailer was nice and compact and got a lot of info out. So, Rob, do you have any thoughts before we move on?
Yeah, I think actually Terrell kind of hit the nail on the head, because to me, the addition of the Treehouse the following day now kind of changes the whole element of what could happen on the 12th, because now they've removed the need to have to really demonstrate games. Because before the Treehouse was announced, and this is why I've spent the last 2 days on my own videos talking about this nonsense, is before the Treehouse was announced, you would think they have to do a lot of things on the 12th. They have to not only give us the price, the date, and all the millions of details we've all wondered about, but then they have to reveal games and show trailers and surprise us with games and then try to demonstrate and give us gameplay of games all in one night on one stage. That all of a sudden is that 3-hour Sony press conference that they would almost have to put into one show. But now that they've kind of separated what they're doing, my guess is really an hour gets the job done. They can pull out all of that stuff, which what I've been calling myself the fun stuff, which is the gameplay and the trailers and the reveals. They'll have probably a couple of those things for sure, but I think you can now get the messaging across in, as short as 45 minutes, but probably an hour. If it's a perfectly executed show, which it might not be, Juice, which I think is what you're saying. There could be flubs and mistakes and stuff which lengthen it. But if it's perfectly executed, I think you can get the messaging across in 60 minutes flat. I think you could do that.
Yeah, and I was on a Real Gamers podcast last week, even though he didn't put me as a special guest like he did for Ms. T. But
I think you're a special guest, Terminator. You're special.
Hey man, at least he linked to your channel in the description. So,
yeah. What are you saying?
I'm just saying you're special.
That's
It's
too much
cool.
work, man. It's too much work.
Oh God.
But anyway, actually I could do it beforehand because of the way they set up now. But there was a couple of people on there that listen to the Leveled Head Gamers podcast. There's more than I'd say half the, other than like the really diehard Nintendo guys, seems like the majority of people think this is an E3. And to hear people's predictions of what reveals are going to happen, and like, I mean, people are pulling every single game that Nintendo IP that they have getting revealed on the 12th, and it's like, to me, that would be stupid because you got E3 a few months later, so 5 months, but a few months after the thing launches. So
Sure.
I want to get your guys' thoughts on the format of the presentation, and I will set it up by saying I've seen the photo showing the it's like an amphitheater that they're going to be in, and
Oh, really?
I
haven't seen that.
Yeah, what's the photo at?
It was on somebody had the event, and this said the name of the place. It was like I don't know if it was a tweet or whatever, and then they had like an inside shot of the building and an exterior shot.
Wow.
Of what is it, like the big building or something? Whatever they called.
Well, that's a lot of big buildings, Juice. I'm just
well, in Japan, it's called like the big building in Japan.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do some research here. I have to see this.
Yeah,
I'll go Google search some big buildings in Japan.
Yeah. It's gonna take you a while.
I'm doing it right now. So, but yeah, I want to get. Sorry.
I was gonna say like the format's tricky. I don't know if you wanted to go into that yet or not.
Yeah, I'm gonna. That's where I'm going. So, but I thought maybe if you guys saw the picture, it'd be a little more fair to see how maybe it's gonna lay out. I will bring up the Square Enix event, the Sonic event, where they had a stage like that, but then they just like set up a table, had people talking.
I don't want to talk about the Sonic event. That was a rough night.
But yeah, so even just because it has a stage and it's an amphitheater, but they could just do what Square Enix does and just set up a table with a cloth around it and have microphones, almost like a Comic-Con panel for like movies and stuff, and just have people talking. It doesn't just because it's that setting. I don't know if it means it's gonna have that kind of E3 type of, where someone comes up on stage, there's screens in the background. Like I have no idea.
It's hard to predict. That's actually probably one of the hardest things to predict at this point, because of kind of like what I was saying a minute ago. Like now that the Treehouse thing is happening, it kind of changes what we might be able to expect from the 12th. So like, what format do they do? It's a really hard question.
I'm gonna interject. I'm gonna say I can see why people are kind of think it's gonna be an E3 like experience, because essentially, as we've been learning throughout the months, the Switch is essentially going on tour literally right after the shit ends, and it's like it's going to be at every convention has already been like confirmed, or most mainstream conventions.
There's been like 3 or 4 conventions, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's been confirmed it's going to be at conventions. You got the fans are able to go. Not only the people who are invited, but the fans can go up there and try out the Switch. I think it's going to be like, and I know they're having a press exclusive event too. So my assumption would be it's like this thing ends. And then Japan, they'll probably be like demo kits just hanging out all across the theater and be like, hey, you want to go try some games that you just heard were announced?
Yeah.
So I think it'll be like a pseudo E3 in that sense. So I think the format will probably be something. So it probably just won't be as like ridiculous as like some of their older E3s, like when the Wii was announced or even when the Wii U announced, because a lot of the things, at least from a base level feature wise, there's nothing really major to showcase in the same way. So but I still think like the general format will be something pretty similar to an E3.
All right. I kind of think that would probably work best for like the reception it'd get. But like I said, Square and other Japanese companies have done stuff and it's been a little bit less exciting. So, they had like a projector on like a screen. It wasn't even like there was no other flashy stuff or anything. So, but I think it's true that there's going to be multiple, like what they say, the types of in the audience was going to be business partners and share,
and
you know,
media. Definitely medias. I know, like the IGN guys are going, the GameSpot guys.
they're going to that. I thought they were going to the next.
No, they're going to Japan. No, to Japan
for the actual 12th.
Yeah. In fact, and I could be wrong on this, but I feel like it was a Commonwealth Realm video I heard about 2 weeks ago, and one of the people, you know, they get a lot of different folks who speak for Commonwealth Realm, and one of those guys mentioned going to Japan to represent and be there.
And I was mistaken. The location, the big site, it's called. That's for the hands-on. That's for the open. public
Tokyo
one.
Big Site is what you were trying to say.
That's for the January 14th for the public.
Gotcha.
So I mixed those two up. So now I'm not sure where the.
Well, regardless, remember hearing about that it was as big as Tokyo Game Show or something like that? Remember?
I don't remember that.
What are you talking about? How they said it's this big 7-hour event kind of thing?
No, they were saying that the where it's located, it's as big as Tokyo Game Show.
Is this like in a big convention center or something?
Oh, you mean like the venue? Yeah, the venue was huge.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I don't know now. I guess I'm not sure where the 12th one is because there's really I can't find a damn. I've searched every like wording and I just can't find out where.
You dreamt it, man. You had a dream and you thought it was real and you're trying to get us in on your dream and it's just not going to happen.
No, the thing I was talking about, or the thing I had mentioned earlier was the 14th was that open event at the big site.
Their public event, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's not the January 12th. So I'm not sure where it's held. So I don't really know what the, is it going to be like a hotel setting, like just an open flat floor, or is it going to be more of an amphitheater? So I guess without knowing that, I guess we can just kind of talk about what do you think? What would you do? What would you hope they do? But what do you think? And then what do you think they will do? So, I mean, there's a lot of options there.
There's a lot.
If IGNs and those types of people are going to be there, then they're going to have to have playable stations set up. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Is it going to start with trailers or is it going to start with just people talking? I really just don't know. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I can't really think of.
It's freaking hard. It's really hard to predict. And, the thing is, like, when you talk about how, like, knowing some of the press, even, like, the worldwide press, the American press, IGN, and those folks going, too, like, it does kind of change what we might be able to expect. And, again, I've spent so much time talking about the different levels of E3-ness to expect from the 12th or to not expect. And it's like, I feel like there's a difference in treating it like an E3 in the sense that we know it's this big 7-hour event. They're going to have a live band. We can probably expect Switches to be there for people on hand to be able to play it, like you're saying. And I certainly expect that for the folks there. But all of us, all the, the gamer pundits this last couple of months with how we're talking about it on YouTube and Twitter and all these different places, we're talking about the 12th. Like, what are they going to stream to the world that we're going to be watching from our computers? Because they're not going to reveal stuff at the show floor where people are just getting to play Switches after the event. If they're going to show trailers or those kinds of exciting things, it'll be on the stage that we watch for whatever the 60 minutes or 90 minutes it's going to be. And that format is what I'm curious about. And I think what you're talking about, and you talked about like how the Comic-Con thing happens, where it's just a panel, where someone hosts a panel, asks questions to a long table of all the stars of the movie. Or in this case, a long table of all these developers making Switch games, and Miyamoto would be there, and Kimishima is going to be talking, and all these different things. Maybe Bill Trinan, he speaks Japanese, so he could be there presenting to the audience. Like, I don't see something that boring happening, because to me, that's boring for a gaming game, for sure.
Would it be like, the Game Awards, where they might have people off to the side? Here's a little setup of showing a game, or do you think it's all going to be on a focused stage every time?
I think one stage.
Yeah, I say one stage. I actually have an idea of how it's going to start. I would say, because Nintendo's done this before, when it starts and like the stream starts, it'll just start with a trailer. Now, whether I'm more likely to believe the trailer is going to be the Mario game versus the Zelda game, just because we've seen Zelda so many times.
Yep.
It's either going to be either a Mario game or it's going to be like a new, like updated Switch overview trailer. Like we're either going to like where it shows off the other parts of the system that we didn't see in the first trailer.
You know,
I mean,
I think that's a good idea.
Because then it's like, oh, well, you know, that's when you reveal the touch screen and maybe the fact that there's an IR sensor in the in the Joy-Con, and maybe the VR patent is real, you know, that kind of stuff. Like we
like
get
a
like
40-second sizzle reel kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
we get like a new trailer, and then it like shows off another. And even in that trailer, you see a clip of the Mario game again, but you see more of it, and then they can literally transition that into this is the Nintendo Switch, and then here's our new Mario game. Kind of like a cool transitionary thing. So where it doesn't feel like disjointed, you can hit the overview, talk a little bit about the new things that you haven't talked about before, go right into the game that you showed off in that overview trailer.
So, but you think that they're going to spend time playing games on stage, though, right?
Well, not necessarily playing it, but just showing them. Like you could show like a clip of like you could show the Switch's new features while showing the Mario game, for example, being played,
like in the background.
And then you can just show the full trailer for the new Mario game.
Yeah, I agree.
Like you can transition into it from the overview.
Yeah, I mean that's a thought. So I mean, or it could just be like come out on stage. They got, you know, big screen showing video. They got someone, Kimishima comes out, speaks, and then they bring out some developers. Hey, you know, or it could be because it, you know, they got to have information about the Switch, how it works, all the stuff we've been waiting for. So it's just really interesting. So I guess here's a question I can ask that maybe a little easier to answer. What is the first game we'll see in any, you know, as soon as the thing starts, what's the first game we'll see?
I think we'll see the 3D Mario, probably.
Okay.
That's a good guess. I'm gonna cheat and have two answers, because it's either gonna be that new Mario, if it's far enough in development to show something, it would be that, because you don't make that your surprise. You just show people first and up front, we got the new Mario, you know to expect it, this is it, it's freaking awesome, be excited. Or one of the first things they show us is a surprise game. And I don't think that would be like the Megaton, like here is that Metroid game or whatever, or anything like that. But it could be something like a new IP, or it could be the Splatoon sequel, something that we haven't actually seen or heard of. Nothing, it's either the Mario game or something that we didn't see hinted at that Switch trailer.
You don't think they'll start up Zelda again? You know,
I mean,
Zelda really
I won't
quickly.
put it past them to do that, but I hope they don't. I mean, we don't need to see that.
Because they might do Zelda release date. Oh, but you know what? Well, you know what they could do? This is what I'm thinking. They could do a sizzle reel sort of thing for the Switch. They could do the release date right then and there, and then
the first thing, and
then show Zelda, then release date,
all right,
and then
so
Mario.
The sizzle reel, whatever they show first, the very first game that we see footage of, make an answer. I'm gonna hold you to it.
Oh man,
I'm gonna say it's the Rabbids and Mario game.
What? No, there's no way they're gonna start with Rabbids.
You know the reason why I believe that, because it's like people say, it's a game that's out of left field, and if my theory is right about them starting with like a mini overview trailer to show off some of the new features, it wouldn't be a shock if that game had like touch gimmicks, like since it's kind of like an RPG. So you transition from that and then you show off the game. So I'm going to say it's the Mario and Rabbids game.
It could be. They could even do that to help out Ubisoft. Like part of the thing with Ubisoft is like, hey, like really push this game. We're going to work together and put our IPs together.
Well, yeah, because it
really push it.
Because it also helps because it's still Mario.
That's true.
It's still it hits both marks. It's still Mario, but it's third party.
I hate this question, Juice. I'm going to say Mario. I'm just gonna say Mario. I know it's easy to answer, but I got Robert.
All right, then Mario. Or no, Zelda.
I'm going Zelda. You already said Mario. You can't change it.
Hey, I'm gonna stick with Mario too. That's me. I'm
gonna ask Andre if he's listening, since he's gonna be on that Friday podcast, if he wants to throw out a guess, going to the live chat or in the comments below if he's tuned out. He was watching earlier, so. Yeah, I mean, just there's so many possibilities. I want to say like a third-party exclusive, like Fire Emblem Warriors, or Bayonetta 3 or something. But the very first thing they show, I think Terrell might be onto something with kind of just a highlight of some games and some stuff we've already seen.
I definitely agree. I mean, think of how many press conferences the last 3 or 4 years at E3 have started that way. Like with a 40-second sizzle reel that highlights a couple of their big hits from the last year or two, and also the exciting things that the PlayStation or the Xbox brand is doing for the next year that you'll see today, like quick shots of like a new character in a new game or whatever.
Mhm.
And I really think Terrell nailed it. Again, like that really could be the first thing that they start off with, which would be very E3-esque. But I have to say, kind of still going back though, like I wanted to share like my thoughts on kind of how this presentation could go, because we're talking about like what games are they going to show, what are we going to do there, and I think that part of what we should wonder is how much of this is to show new games. Like I still think the majority of new games is going to come from the Treehouse the day after.
Well, they did say
expect-
the Treehouse is to play games revealed at the Switch event.
And if that's true, then maybe that changes that for sure. Because and don't get me wrong, I do expect games shown at this thing, but I just don't expect it to be so much of an E3 blast of new games and trailers. And I sure hope I'm wrong. Don't get me wrong. I would love to just be way wrong, and it's basically E3 in January. But I think it's teetering between. I've talked about this recently too. Teetering between a kick-ass E3 show and kind of a more boring business-focused PS4 Pro thing. I think it's going to be sort of in between and have elements of the boring PS4 Pro business crap and some of the really exciting Nintendo E3 new trailer, new game reveal stuff.
Yeah, because it
I don't know
does
if
say.
you guys agree with that at all, but that's
I agree, and I wanted to get everybody's take, but let me just read the tweet. The Treehouse is an in-depth look at upcoming games featured in the Nintendo Switch presentation. So
okay, great. That's good news.
So that tells me that the presentation's there are going to be a lot of games shown, and then the Treehouse is just playing those games. I don't know that there'll be any surprise announcements in the Treehouse. So, but let's just get a final rundown, because like I said in the beginning, a lot of people are hyping up this January 12th to be E3, and even I just forgot for a few minutes there, that there's still a lot of information, and they said it's going to be very info heavy, and that doesn't, to me, that doesn't sound like exciting. Some of it ain't going to be exciting. It's just going to be stuff you need to know or want to know, but how can they do that in like the most exciting way? They can't. They'll just speak it and it'll get translated to us. So there's going to be a lot of information, and I just want to just run down, what do you think the excitement factor or whatever this event's going to actually be? Is it going to be a great E3, a bad E3, or something just completely different? So I want to say that overall, I guess the feeling's going to be good because of the games they show, but I think it's going to be a little bit more low-key, a little less flair and pizzazz, and just kind of a no-nonsense info heavy with some game trailers and stuff. I guess that's where I'm feeling at this point. So Terrell, what do you think?
I think, because there's a way of doing this without like ruining it. I would say you talk about a feature of the Switch, and then you kind of feature a game that kind of shows it off. So like you could break up the monotony by doing like a little bit of info, new game trailer, a little bit of info, new game trailer, and kind of keep that pattern up throughout the entire conference, and it won't feel nowhere near as like dry as something like the PlayStation 4 Pro reveal, because Nintendo, I mean, let's be real here. A lot of the info dump is not going to be the same as like the PlayStation one, where the PlayStation one wanted to talk about specs for fucking, what was that? Like almost half of the dang event. Like Nintendo, it'll primarily just be features. Which also kind of brings up the question of whether they're going to do that whole testimonial thing from developers or not. Because I
think that'll happen.
Because that's where the monotony will probably hit in, if there is. But I would say it has the potential to be like above average, but it all depends on how the pacing is and how they kind of structure their info and their testimonials and their features and their game trailers.
Do you think there's going to be people going into this thinking E3 presentation and that not being that, and then them being really disappointed, even if the information stuff we needed to know, wanted to know, and there's some cool games revealed?
People are going to be disappointed regardless. I mean, it could be. I mean, let's think about it. Nintendo's E3 back in 2014 when they were showing off all their games was like the best. It was like one of the best ones in recent years. And people walked down and said, "Oh, it's not. I don't know. It's still pretty bad." So I'm expecting someone's gonna be disappointed regardless. I expect someone to be disappointed. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened anyway.
Yeah. How about you, Robert? What's your, guess where you feel the hype factor of the event after it's over? Where do you think it's gonna be for you and for everybody else?
I can't see myself not being at a 10. Honestly, I really can't.
You mean like a 2000, sir?
They could explain to me like we have a new 3D Mario game. In this one, he jumps across the platforms. Like I'll still be like, no way. Doesn't it really?
No way. He jumps now?
It's like that damn DVD that came with like Super Mario Galaxy 1 or 2 that taught you how to play the games. Like you use the analog stick to make Mario run.
I forgot all about that.
Like
I know a certain gaming diva that probably could have used to watch that.
You savage.
All right, so let's we're gonna spend some time making some game predictions here. So third party, and this includes exclusives or multiplats. And it doesn't matter if it's already been confirmed or not. Here's the over-under. It's going to be 3.5. So obviously, if it's under, you're taking 1, 2, or 3. Over, you're taking 4 and above. How many third-party games will be shown during the Switch event? So over-under, basically 1 through 3 or 4 and above.
3 is that's a rough over-under number, actually.
Yeah, but
you think so?
Jesus.
I think it is. I think it is, yeah. But that's fine. It is what it is.
I thought that was a pretty good balance because I don't even know how many games we're going to see, period. So
that's true.
That is very true. And I'm of the mindset, although I think I'm going to feel really good about the show, I'm of the mindset there won't be a ton of games, and why some people, a pretty good amount of people, might be disappointed in the excitement factor.
So
if I was,
I will just say that T said over and I said under.
I'm gonna say over.
I'm gonna say over too.
Well, then you know what? Fuck it. I'll be different. I'll say under.
All right.
Because I was teetering between 3 and 4, so your over/under really screwed me.
That was the whole idea.
I'll just make it not obvious, so that it's not one-sided, and I'll go with 3 as my guess. So I'm gonna go.
Well, okay, hold on. I guess here's a better question. When you say third-party games, do you mean games that will appear on other consoles, or do you mean like games by third-party developers?
Any third-party game shown that's going to be on the Switch?
Just any. I think they'll have
because I'm
would
saying
you include the Rabbids game?
Because the Rabbids game you consider a third-party game in that. By that logic.
Well, we've had this discussion before. We never came to resolution. I would say if it's published by Nintendo,
that
it's second party.
Oh, okay.
Developed by anyone, as long as Nintendo publishes it. To me, that's second party. But
so you only count third party if it's like the person who the developer who developed it is also publishing it.
I think I don't, but it, like I said in the past, we've argued over what that means. So if the Rabbids game Ubisoft publishes it, that's obviously third party, even if it has Mario.
But doesn't that mean that you would consider Bayonetta 2 a second party? Because didn't Nintendo publish it?
That's right, they did publish it.
Yeah, but that we consider.
I guess we'll just say, all right. Here's what we'll just say: any game developed by a third party.
Yeah, over.
That feels good to me. Over for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely over.
I think that there's a pretty solid amount of games coming to the Switch that are third party.
But these will be shown at the event.
Is going to be 3. No, I think under.
That includes the sizzle reel that just might happen.
Because think about it, Nintendo has to show their games, and so they're going to want to show their new Animal Crossing, the new Splatoon, Mario Kart this, Mario this, and like if they only show 6 games. They want to show at least 4 Nintendo games. How many more? That's only 2 other third-party games, potentially.
True.
So, yeah, I'm going to stick with under.
All right, so the next one, will we see Wii U ports on the Switch?
Ooh, that's a big question.
Featured on Thursday in the January 12th event. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, there will be, and I have mixed feelings about it.
I think it depends on the game. There's only it depends on which ones is
Mario Kart.
No.
You don't think Mario Kart they'll show it?
No. I'm not saying they won't show it. I'm just saying that's the one I probably wouldn't get anyway.
Oh no, I'm just saying like if they're showing it.
Still waiting for Rob to answer.
I think that I'm going to say yes. Yeah, I think they
All right.
will. Yeah.
Mizzy and Terminator Juice said no. There won't be any
Ooh.
Switch ports shown. But even if we're wrong, just in case, what's the over/under on Wii U ports? I said 3.5, so this one probably pretty easy.
Under. I'm going under.
Okay.
Shit.
Under.
But this, these could be if they show Lego City in any fashion, that would
God
count.
damn it.
Man.
I forgot about that.
That messes everything up.
I'm gonna say
Because it's coming to the Switch.
It is.
Oh man.
We should make these unconfirmed Wii U ports. And
well, that's
I
also
feel like
implying which Wii U ports you think are going to be at launch. That's the other question.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. T and I both said under, obviously, because we didn't.
I think
I'm
two.
trying
I think
to
we're gonna
think.
say two.
And
Okay.
the only thing I can think of would maybe be Mario Kart and Lego City, so I'm gonna say under.
Oh, I think it's Splatoon, Mario Kart.
Smash.
They forgot about.
So you think they'll
I
show?
don't think so. I think it's Splatoon, Mario Kart, and what was the other one I was thinking?
Okay, wait. I got to throw a wrench in this thing. Here's what I need to know, Juice. When you make these rules, you say if a Wii U port is shown. Now, do they have to be showing the game, or what if they just had a list and they were like Smash Brothers was just on a list, whereas Mario Kart they showed the game?
I'm talking about footage.
Okay, that's good to know. Then in that case, I'll stick with my answer.
Yeah, if it's like it's Splatoon 1 with some enhanced features, that's still a port.
That's a port. Yeah, remaster / port, right? That's like
even though there's so much evidence that Splatoon was Splatoon 2.
I said that since the day that trailer happened.
If you say
the trees, man, the trees say it all.
Yep.
There's a lot more in those. But anyway, next question, and this is another game related. Will Zelda be a launch title? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Also, what I've said since day one.
T said yes, and I said yes, even though for the longest time I was thinking no, but that was before Jimmy Fallon and the updates they've been doing. They're definitely pushing.
they've been pushing, and then they've been really pushing Zelda recently.
They have been, and I want to go on record saying 2 months ago when that big rumor was going around for about 3 weeks that it was going to get pushed and delayed to the summer. That whole time I maintained I don't think so. I think it's going to be a launch, and now everyone came back to the good side. We all know it's going to be a launch game, so you're welcome.
All right. I forgot to ask about third-party games. Do you think the Treehouse? And this really isn't that much of a prediction. Like, I'm not writing this one down, but do you think the Treehouse will be featuring third-party games and then having developers for third-party games?
Yes.
You know what bothers me about that? We don't know how long the stream is going to be. That's what pisses me off more right now.
That's a very good point.
Because if we knew how long the stream would tell me if we're going to get that or not.
Yeah.
I'm going to say
yes.
I'm going to also say yes. I know we're kind of one-sided.
Yeah. I mean,
but
it's
I just
fine.
feel like yes. Like, it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
All right. So since we said Zelda's going to be a launch title, now here is the question, and it's really the only question because it's what Anuma said the only difference was going to be. And that's the visuals, and we've never seen it direct feed from Switch as that we know of. Maybe some of the trailers in there. So let's just talk about if it's going to be an obvious, like in this stream, is it going to be obvious or a trailer they upload? Or is it going to be, do you think they're going to be very close in the technical department as far as the visuals of the game? Like, are you going to be able to say, oh, wow, that's definitely the Switch version?
Do you mean in the sense of what Nintendo's going to tell us, or do you just mean
once
in
we
general
see direct,
the final product?
Once we see direct feed of Zelda running on Switch,
will it be obvious?
I think it'll just be close.
I think go ahead.
I said a while ago on AGLs that I thought it'd be a huge difference. That was before I knew what the Switch was. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be fairly hard to tell unless it's a side-by-side Digital Foundry video.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think initially people might say, unless Nintendo goes out of their way to showcase the visual upgrade, which they may do. We know Nintendo doesn't usually talk about power, but they may, with Zelda specifically, say, we're proud to show you what the power of the Switch does to Breath of the Wild. And they really showcase some super, super, very pretty stuff, heavy visually. But if they don't do that, then I think I agree that it's gonna initially just look like the Zelda we've always seen, and only when we start analyzing it after the fact will people start to realize, oh yeah, that does actually look good.
Yeah,
See,
and Retro Death pointed out that technically is a Wii U port.
yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. That's the main reason why I believe it'll be close, because essentially it's just an up-res version of a Wii U game. It's not. It wasn't built from the ground up for the Switch.
I don't think we should count that as one of the ports being shown. Do you guys?
Well, if the Switch
we wouldn't
version
count it as a
launches
port.
if the Switch
count it
version
as a
launches
port.
first, does that count as a port? Because I don't think so. What if the
I
Switch
don't
version
know.
comes out?
I think
Well, that
that
also brings up the question of whether, actually, now that it's highly likely that the Switch version is coming out, do we think the Wii U version is going to come out at the same time?
I think so. And
I could see
Amazon's pretty confident, and they got a March 31st release date. That could be just a placeholder, but
That's probably just placeholder.
yeah, we're not going to count. That's going to be an exception for Wii U ports being shown, just because we've already seen it running on the Switch, and
it's a gray area.
And they co-develop. Like, it's not technically a port. I don't think they're finishing Wii U code and say, "Oh, we got to port that code now to the Switch."
Well, here's a better question: do you view either version of Twilight Princess? Do you view the Wii version of Twilight Princess as a port of the GameCube one?
No.
Okay, then there's the answer then.
And that got worked on. That was even later in the development cycle. They started the Wii version, as far as I know, compared to the Switch version.
Yeah, because there was like barely any difference between the games.
That was one of the craziest days I remember from the last decade when I found out what they were doing with Twilight Princess. And it was really exciting, but I was like, oh my God, they're doing what? 2 versions? One on the Wii with motion? Oh my God, it was so great. That was a great 2006, great day.
And it's funny that I prepare like expecting the same people that immediately said the Switch version ran so much better from the Jimmy Fallon footage. Like, I've listened to multiple people just say that so nonchalant as fact. Oh, it's running so much better. And here's the thing, Red Knight pointed this out. It's been 6 months since the E3 build. Well, it was 5 at that point. It could have just been the updated Wii U. The updated Wii U build could have a locked frame rate now. Like,
I'm about to say.
Sure.
I don't. That's like implying that the version that we saw on E3 was going to be the final version of the game.
Yeah. So
I never really took away. I mean, I know that there were frame rate issues. I'm not denying that, but I never took the frame rate problems away from that E3 thing. I thought it looked fantastic.
Yeah, and
so I decided it was just kind of weird.
Well, you don't really notice it until the Digital Foundry footage. That's when I really noticed it.
Even Game Explain had a little. They showed how it kind of skipped frames or something. But
yeah, I mean, it's there, but.
I'm kind of predicting some of the same people that immediately said that Jimmy Fallon showed, such an improvement are going to be also kind of turning now to disappointment, seeing it direct feed, and it doesn't look that much different.
Well, it didn't look different on the Jimmy Fallon footage.
Yeah, but it was on a
it looked pretty good.
Screen.
It still did look pretty good, though. I'll admit. I was like, wow.
I'm just saying, like, it kind of goes back to my whole thing.
Better.
Well, I say it goes back to my whole thing about how the Wii U version and the Switch version probably look pretty close in general. It's the same thing. Like, I don't think that it's gonna make that much of a difference seeing your direct feed, but
it makes a huge direct feed, man.
No, I'm talking about in comparison to the Wii U footage.
But compared to what we saw at Jimmy Fallon, I mean, you're talking off screen.
No, not the Jimmy Fallon stuff. I mean, like in comparison to the Wii U direct
and people were saying that Jimmy Fallon was obviously better looking, and I didn't see it. I was warning people, expecting them to say it looks no different, saying, hey, it's a off-screen projected image onto a huge, it's a huge size,
like
projection.
A big canvas.
Yeah, and that degrades it significantly. So it'll look better than that. I'm just kind of making this prediction that some of the people that immediately said it looks so much better are gonna be like, well, it doesn't look that much different. Whereas I never thought the Jimmy Fallon look to me. I'm like, yeah, after they compared them, that explosion was smoother, but it could just be the more updated build of the game. And I wasn't ready to crown it just this significant improvement. So I'm waiting for direct feed footage for me personally to really judge it.
Yeah, I just viewed it as a improvement. That's what I saw.
Yeah, and me too. And I think people will definitely be disappointed. I mean, there's probably a lot of potential disappointment that could come on a bunch of things from this January 12th event, and that certainly could happen. But I mean, it's all going to be negligible at the end of the day, and I don't really think it's going to even damper anyone's excitement. Even if people do feel like, oh, it doesn't look that much better, and the Jimmy Fallon thing was a lie, I don't think it's really going to affect anyone's excitement, and everyone's still going to buy it and play it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I do expect some disappointment for sure.
All right, so the next thing, and a few of you have already kind of confirmed your answers here, but will the 3D Mario even be shown?
Yes,
I think so.
100%.
So T
Now
said
you mean
yes.
in any fashion? You mean, right? Will it be shown? Okay.
Yeah, obviously.
So we all said yes. So here's a if we want to just talk about the next 3D Mario game a little bit. Somebody asked me in a live chat last week, I think, or in my Juice Opinions, do you think there'll be like a life meter like in the Galaxies series and 64 and stuff, or is it going to be a big little scenario like 3D World and the 2D games?
I think it's going to be
wow.
the heart. Well, you see a heart in the footage.
Yeah, there's a heart in the footage.
So my assumption is to be like Galaxy.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that too. Yeah.
So I mean, it's hard to try to predict this stuff, but we saw a Mexican theme. I guess what's your feelings on the 3D Mario? There was that little tease in the trailer of the girl having the second controller, whether or not they were still playing Mario. I guess if you have any thoughts or any hopes or dreams for the 3D Mario game, and maybe we'll start with Robert since he's I love me some Galaxy, but I think Robert's played it a lot more than me. So what are your thoughts and what are you looking forward to the most about the next 3D Mario game?
Just that I'm going to play a new 3D Mario game. Like, come on, since 2013, we've all been waiting for another 3D Mario game. It's been a long time coming, and I'm done with waiting. And the fact that by the little footage, he's just walking a straight line, but you could tell there's a left and there's a right. And it looks like there's some vibrant environments there.
I just like the way you phrase that. There's a left and there's a right.
There's a floor and there's a ceiling, there's a sky, there's a hat.
I'm so excited because it looks like it is more open and stuff, and I can't wait for that. It's just gonna be amazing. I'm totally gonna play this like a billion times. Like,
what about a returning power up that hasn't been in either a 3D Mario game ever or in a long time?
Oh, okay, or in a long time.
Well, yeah, since 64. I'm gonna say the flying cap.
I was gonna say.
Damn it! That's exactly what I was thinking.
I think that would come back.
Or the cape. What about the cape?
The cape in 3D. That's
what about Frog Mario?
And Frog. I think those are it, right?
I want Hammer Brother Mario. That's what I want.
We've had.
No,
I
want Cloud.
Yeah, we had the boomerang. I want Hammer.
Yeah.
I would love the cape, but I don't know how the flying would work with having to press back because in a 3D in space. I mean,
they would figure it out.
Area where actually cheesing stages with it.
I would love that though, because that's my favorite power up.
I would say, in terms of hopes, I would hope. It seems like with the Mexican theme, they're kind of starting to really deviate from like traditional Mario fare. Like Mario fare has always been kind of the standard world theme. So having a Mexican
not
theme,
in Galaxy and stuff.
Okay, fine. The one
not
except
in Sunshine.
Well, actually, look,
and Sunshine,
I mean more in terms of like, because that's still kind of, yeah. I mean, Sunshine is still kind of traditional.
Not even a little bit, my dude.
It's a beach. Yeah. It's a beach themed game with like.
Yeah, but the flood changes everything.
I know. Look. I'm not sitting here arguing whether or not like Sunshine is a unique game. I'm more talking about they're getting a lot weirder with how they're handling level things, because the Day of the Dead theme world is kind of weird even by Mario standards. I mean,
it's weird because it's grounded in like reality kind of. So that's to me one of the weirder things about it. That's like a real world theme that they're putting into a Mario game, which is kind of cool. But
I'm hoping, because 3D World kind of showed off some portions of this, like with the Japanese building stages. Like they started, 3D World was kind of showing some of their experimental side. And it looks like they're continuing that with this new one. I would hope they would grab elements from other Mario games and kind of like combine all the best elements from them. Because the multiplayer makes me think that they're going to bring back playable characters like Peach and Toad and Luigi again, which would be cool as hell. not only for gameplay, but also because of my personal bias towards, I don't need to see Peach get kidnapped again after I don't know how many years or how many decades, I should say.
To see Peach in her tennis outfit or her motorcycle.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you'd be more sitting there going, man, I want to see my Rosalina pictures.
Rosalina is the queen bee. Let's not even mess around.
Rosalina is very nice.
You know who I really want to see in a mainline Mario game again? And this is gonna be stupid.
Daisy.
Well, I mean, Daisy is one of them, but like Wario and Waluigi. Because I mean, like, why does it always have to be Bowser in terms of villains? Like, we have, or at least have them in the game as like sub villains,
or just new villains.
We don't need like Boom Boom and Pom Pom every time where you just tap them on the head 3 times.
Well, again, it's not every time because remember Galaxy 2, everyone was unique. Right?
Yeah, there had a lot of different bosses.
Right.
Well, when you guys talk about the Mexican theme, though, I think that we should acknowledge it's entirely possible that the whole game might not be that way. It could be just one of the many worlds.
Of course. No, I totally.
Well, no, I didn't expect. Yeah, I was saying the theme of the.
Well, I think a lot of people have thought that, and it even still could be true. But I think there's just as much possibility. It's like one of the many worlds to go to.
Yeah.
Because remember, the very next scene is he's running along like this white plane with the bullet bill chasing him.
And there's like crystals in the background.
Yeah,
exactly.
So I think this game will be very weird.
Varied.
I'm going to be one of the weird ones out, and to kind of more directly answer your question, Juice. Like, I mean, obviously my hype level is like a jillion for a new 3D Mario game, but I might be one of the only people that doesn't really need or want it to be multiplayer. I kind of don't really care too much about that.
I like what it leads into.
I mean, they could do something great with it, and I do like it in 3D World, and the new Super Mario Bros. Games are okay. I liked it in 3D World, but I don't really want that. Give me the Galaxy and the 64 thing. Like,
I don't care about the second.
But it looks like they're doing it.
But it'd be cool to have character choices again.
Yeah, like Mario 2 and stuff like that.
So,
which, speaking of, maybe the villain is Wart. Maybe they bring him back. Anyone think about that? Bring back some Wart.
We'll have to see. I mean,
I want Bowser Jr. back. Where's Bowser? Oh, well, wait a second. Bowser Jr. has kind of been around.
We don't need him.
Bowser Jr. is the best Mario character, people.
Imagine if they stick with the Mexican theme or like desert theme, and there's Cactus Mario.
That's not a bad idea, though, dude.
Maraca Mario.
Those are actually, those aren't even like bad ideas. That's exactly what Nintendo would do for that kind of theme in a Mario game. And he could shoot like cactus pin needles at people.
Mm-hmm.
He would do it.
Yeah, and then Maraca Mario can put people dancing, can make dance people. I don't even know.
All right, so I guess, unless somebody else wants to... Oh, wait, we'll end this with this question. Notable missing game from the January 12th event. A notable franchise or a Nintendo staple or something. It could be something as simple as Smash Brothers, has no appearance whatsoever. So Meza T and myself, I didn't even tell him my answer. We both said Metroid will be missing from the 12th event.
Are we only allowed to pick one franchise for this?
I mean, if you want to throw out a couple, if yours is the same as ours, but I mean, it's kind of an open idea. So, and then stuff like Star Tropics or something. To me, that's not notable. That's only been one game or whatever. So, something. Obviously, we didn't get Metroid on the Wii U, and we got the 3DS game. So, I think people would really kind of hope for and maybe not expect, but just hope for a new Metroid to be shown.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's hoping for that. Yeah.
So, if anybody has any other answers or wants to discuss it,
that's tough. I mean,
I think Metroid, Pokemon won't be there. I think Pokemon will be there later in the year.
Yeah,
3.
So I agree with that.
And then also Star Fox, which I don't know if it's
that's
that
pretty
notable
simple.
anymore.
They just released one now.
Yeah.
You mean the last one, right?
Yeah.
The final Star
So
Fox.
I'm gonna write Robert down. I'm gonna write down for Pokemon. That's a big one.
Wow, you don't think Pokemon's gonna be there?
No,
not until E3. I think
E3 makes way more sense for that.
I think they'll blow it up in E3. Be like, guys.
Remember, Sun and Moon literally isn't even it hasn't even been 6 months yet since Sun and Moon's been out. So it don't make no sense to announce a new one while people are still playing Sun and Moon.
Technically, well, you can go.
I was gonna say it's not impossible that it's not there, but I'm definitely on the opposite on that one.
Okay.
I
No,
feel
I
like
was gonna say
Pokemon's a
that
good shot.
technically, doesn't the you know more Terrell? Doesn't the Pokemon Company kind of announce stuff by themselves?
Yeah, it's
They
weird.
kinda do.
The Pokemon Company are pretty like probably the most like disconnected from Nintendo in a lot of ways. And I mean, it's not like they don't announce new Pokemon stuff at E3 events, but like it's not. It's like, to me, it's just less likely in general because of the whole Sun and Moon situation. But yeah, you are right. They do act somewhat independently from the rest of Nintendo sometimes. So
I feel like if Nintendo, and I'm sure that that's true, but I feel like if Nintendo was like, hey, we're going to show our brand new console, we want the new Pokemon game you're making there, that shit would be there. Like, Nintendo would make it happen.
No, yeah,
Now,
for
if
sure.
Nintendo doesn't plan on it, then it's a different story, which may happen. But I feel like Nintendo could still make that if they wanted it to be there.
Well, I don't want to confuse. I think there will be a Pokemon game announced. It just this year. It just won't be at this event. It'll be at E3, and they'll be like, it's coming out in November. And
so you're saying Pokemon 2, Terrell?
Yeah, it won't be at the event in a few days.
Rob, you want to throw a different game?
I want to be. I mean, I want to be different, but I can't. I just feel like Metroid's the answer. So I got to go with Metroid. To break my own heart.
And I didn't ask Mr. T this question. I didn't think of it. Just pull out a surprise game announcement that you wouldn't expect, but
that I wouldn't expect.
Something, I guess, just maybe not everybody would think of, or something that would really be a surprise.
Can I also make mine Metroid? It's literally both answers from me.
But something you think, I guess, more likely than just a, impossible.
The one I've been waiting for. Animal Crossing.
Okay.
Come on.
See, to me, Animal Crossing, it's a good one, but I err more on the side of that being fairly likely. I'm like 60-40 on that for showing up.
Yeah, about to say, I feel like that'll be that. You're gonna get Animal Crossing this year. I just think it'll probably be an E3 announcement personally.
So you
don't? Do you think it'll come this year though? I don't think.
Yeah, I would take a shot in the dark and say, yeah, it's probably gonna come this year.
Maybe Japan this year.
Just think about it. We got the Animal Crossing mobile game that's supposed to come out this year.
That's true.
They just updated New Leaf.
Mm-hmm.
The best way to do cross promotion on all three major Nintendo platforms is to throw out a console game this year. I bet you, because it's also been a while. The last game they worked on was Happy Home Designer, and Happy Home Designer was not a intensive game. Like, it's not like they literally just ripped the engine out of New Leaf and just repurposed it.
I still feel like that game they would announce it this year, but I still think that might be a game to look forward to in 2018.
Me too.
Because there has to be 2018 and 19 lineup for Nintendo.
And Animal Crossing would be huge for 2018, honestly.
For the second year, yeah, I think that.
It all depends on which it depends on which franchises we get this year. Because I'm more
definitely true.
I'm more inclined to believe that Animal Crossing. Actually, you probably would be right. It'd probably be one of those things where it's announced in E3, but you probably wouldn't see it until the year next.
And I still think it has a good chance of showing up at this at the Switch event on Thursday. I do think it has a pretty good chance of showing up there or at E3. But then still being next year. The other series we forgot to talk about was Pikmin, and I'm trying to figure out how that falls into this with the whole Pikmin 4, Pikmin 3DS thing. Oh, I don't know what to do with that information.
Well, let me kind of get out my main general theory about the game's announcements for this thing on Thursday, because what I think it boils down to is that every game that we see is like launch lineup games. Like, I don't think we're gonna get anything insanely down the line. Not many, like maybe one or two.
I think a couple, games. But I think you're right.
That's
for the most
exactly
part.
what I was going to say, and I forgot to say that earlier.
So, and because of that, that's why I don't believe if we see any game that doesn't come out until like either the later in the year or next year, it probably may be Pikmin, but like it's only like one or two games that are going to be like that. I think every other game was going to be that comes out in March, April, or May.
If we don't have to, I assume we don't have to pick first party games, because I think two potential real big surprises, Beyond Good and Evil wouldn't be as big because everyone's freaking talked about it, but it would still be a pretty big moment. The other one would be Bayonetta 3. What if they actually confirm that game? That would be a huge surprise.
Well, hey man, Platinum Games got some free time now.
Yeah, they do, man. It's coming.
I want to say My answer is going to be Fire Emblem Warriors. That's
Oh, you bastard!
I'm going to take a small step in a different direction and say just a Fire Emblem game.
I hope it's
the Warriors
That's
would be
true.
great, but I think it could even just be a regular Fire
Oh,
Emblem.
no, I'm more inclined to believe it's what Juice says is it's a Warriors game.
Sure.
so.
I mean,
Terrell,
I welcome.
did you have an answer for?
Oh, Kid Icarus.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Fuck, man.
I was leaning between Kid Icarus and Punch Out, and I was like, Kid Icarus makes a little bit more sense than Punch Out, unless it was a non-traditional Punch Out. There's no way.
I think Punch Out has a better chance, but I would love Kid Icarus. I'd probably prefer Kid Icarus.
Now what if they make the surprise game is Star Fox 1?
Yo, at that point, you turn off the monitor and you walk out of the room.
Unless it looks incredible. I think surprise games would be Bayonetta 3, a Metroid, or F-Zero. Those are all pretty big surprises that would really catch people off guard.
I don't know if we're ever gonna get it.
I'll be honest with you. If they announce F-Zero, I expect there to be like 20,000 reaction videos of people just crying.
Yeah, it'll be
And
that.
the game will sell 100,000 copies.
Yeah, no one ever played it, but everyone's gonna be crying, but no one played the other ones.
You know why it'll sell 100,000 copies, Juice? Because you'll be sitting there talking about, look at this stupid character they just put in, they just wasted all this
Yeah,
time.
this is the greatest character in Nintendo's history.
It's like Mario Kart doesn't have stupid cutscenes, just race. You know, why do I need F-Zero to have cutscenes?
You can hit
That
the
only happened
start
in
button
one
and
game.
skip them.
I know.
That only happened in one game, and that was for the story mode, which was dumb. You don't play it for the story mode. You play
Well,
it for
the
this-
story
Although
mode's
you
the only
find
way to
out that
unlock
apparently-
certain tracks.
In retrospect,
Yeah, that's
Nintendo has a lot of that game kind of showed me that there's a lot of weird Nintendo franchises that take place in space. Because I mean, technically,
Yeah.
Captain Falcon is a bounty hunter, and I'm like, what?
We know what that means.
Hey,
Metroid,
where's my
Captain
F-Zero?
Falcon
Where's my
crossover?
F-Zero? Where's my Metroid racing game? Damn it!
And since we're talking about games and stuff, I didn't make a category for this, but if anybody wants to throw out a potential third-party multi-plat that will be shown,
Yeah,
featured,
I wanted
other
to
than
add Red Dead.
Skyrim, I think that
other than
one's
Skyrim, okay.
pretty obvious. Could be, but does anybody want to throw out like a For Honor or Watch Dogs 2, something like that?
Oh,
Yeah,
you're talking
I was-
about like a port of a game that already came out? Or?
Multi-plat. It could either be out or be coming out real close in the next 3 months.
I got two, and they're both gonna put me in the weeaboo category. So I mean,
Weeaboo.
just keep that in mind. Now I know there's already been talked about how Persona 5 is not coming, although people fucking lie. So that's the first one. That's kind of a dream one. The second one, and I'm bringing this one up because there is a game coming out for this franchise. I noticed that Marvelous was one of the developers on that sheet that they put out around October 20th. And Senran Kagura does have a game that's supposed to be coming out like early.
We ain't gonna
this year.
see that game at the Switch thing on Thursday.
I would be in tears. I would be in tears. I would be on the floor.
I don't even know how to spell that, so I don't even know
Yeah,
what.
Senran Kagura.
Senran Kagura.
Well, you know, it
No
is in
way.
Japan. So you know what? Let me take that back. Because this is the one in Japan in
Mhm.
Japanese language, it actually isn't impossible, but it's still not likely.
Yeah, it's not
gonna-
lightly, but you know.
I'm gonna say.
I've got two. I've got three.
Yeah, I've
I'm
got a
gonna
couple.
say Kingdom Hearts 3.
That was one of mine.
That's
That would
actually-
imply we see new footage. Damn
Here's
it!
the thing. Well, that game they could show a logo and heads will explode. It's
You
rather
never
than
seen
prioritize.
Rob. I want new footage.
Wait.
I know, me too. I do too, man. I do too.
My
Here's the thing.
slash RE7.
That would be great.
Okay.
That would be so,
Like,
and that would
you know-
actually make me really freaking angry because I am dying for Resident Evil 7,
You
and
know
I don't
the-
want to make the decision to wait, and I won't wait, and then I'll
Oh.
just.
I'm gonna throw this, and I'm gonna mention this real quick. Ironically, I know there was a rumor that came out Saturday talking about that VR patent that they did for the Switch. The RE7 is the game, like one of the first games that'll take advantage of it.
Man,
Nah,
that'll mess me up.
Nonsense.
I
That'll
don't think so.
I know.
All
I just don't. I just thought it was interesting that you
Robert.
mentioned
And these are, I wanted this to be the likely games, even though I said Kingdom Hearts 3, but Resident Evil 7's my likely one.
It's pretty likely.
So I guess sticking to the likely possibility side.
I think they'll announce the Cloud Amiibo release date, and then they'll show Final Fantasy VII Remastered.
Ooh, that's
remake.
not a bad one.
I don't think they'll
Regular.
actually. I don't think they'll actually do that. They might do the remake. Honestly, I think there's It should be
it's
on the
possible.
Switch.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we got Dragon Quest anyway coming. I keep
Yeah, I mean,
forgetting.
because I was leaning more on the Final Fantasy 15.
No, I totally
Too
agree.
excited.
I think.
But then when you
they
said
might do
7, I
that,
was
but
like,
they
that's a
also
really
announced-
Well, Final
Really
Fantasy 7's Unreal Engine. Final Fantasy 15 was a custom game
custom
engine.
Yeah.
They might
So-
do both. Honestly, I truly believe they might do both.
They'll test the waters with 15. That's what
So,
they'll do.
it'd be a lot more work probably to get 15 running. But so, Rob, is that your answer?
Well-
Or?
Well, no, that wasn't one of my answers. For me, Kingdom Hearts 3 was one of them. So I don't think that is so impossible, but I actually would think that would be an E3 thing and not a Thursday thing. But for me, Red Dead Redemption, I think, is a possibility. And
Yeah.
because it would be if it was coming and they secured that game, it would be huge. It would be freaking huge news and a huge win for Nintendo. Also, I'll sneak in a little bit that Dark Souls rumor. So maybe something's happening on the Dark Souls from Software front. And
Which one
happens.
do you want to put as your first most likely?
I'm gonna say, I think I'll stick with Red Dead. I'm gonna stick with Red Dead.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
It's not even that likely, but I think it's more likely of a lock for Thursday than Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
Or Dark
you know what?
Souls.
I'm going to throw out one more, and it's really random because this game is relatively old.
Mhm.
I know they said they're not putting Mass Effect Andromeda on the Switch, but that doesn't mean we couldn't get the trilogy game, right?
No, I think they will bring Andromeda to the Switch. That's another thing I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
but I'm saying if we
Man, I
if we,
hope.
I would think we would get trilogy since if they're playing the logic of Nintendo fans haven't played this franchise
I
yet.
think it's too late. You know
Yeah,
what?
and I
It's
don't-
too late, and the trilogy doesn't affect Andromeda. They're not related, so I don't think that they would feel compelled to have to do that because you don't have to play the Shepard trilogy to know Andromeda.
And they
Well, I
didn't
think it's
release-
more so just to test the interest in Mass Effect. Period, though.
It would
But
be
did they
such a
release the
waste.
trilogy on the?
So it's
current
been
gen?
3 out on the Wii U without
No, they
all the
haven't.
DLC.
Yeah, they would have
Juice,
to.
they haven't. They haven't.
Yeah, they have to port that from like 360 or something. So.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I
right.
don't
That's
think
not
they-
on the what you
No.
call it.
No.
I forgot
But
about that.
wouldn't it be something if Andromeda and Red Dead get confirmed, and then a certain podcast clip that was like two of the
Just
major
say it.
points?
He's like dancing around it. Just say it because you're looking for a Beyond pun, and I don't think you're gonna find it.
I would
looking for a
love it
Beyond
if that
pun.
happened, man.
It'd be
You
incredible.
I can see him in the background. I can see Juice just reaching.
But people would be beyond excited if they announced
Oh,
it.
see, it's terrible.
Beyond-
If they got that, I'm telling you, like it's game over. People.
Oh, by the
Nintendo
way,
wants-
Yeah.
for the listeners of the podcast, the hashtag for this podcast is hashtag fuck IGN. Just letting you know.
And I will say, Per Snyder.
I still like IGN. aside
Per
from that.
Snyder was very civil with trying to defend, even though he said he disagreed. It was actually me and OJ, and
I
Per
saw
was
some of that,
It was
responding
magical.
directly to us. So,
Yeah.
um,
And Pear is a good guy and a stalwart Nintendo fan.
he is, and
really
if you've seen the photos, the dude's making some money. If you've seen his freaking house, holy shit!
Oh yeah, that guy travels. He travels a lot. He speaks German, Japanese, and English fluently, so he does a lot of traveling in the whole video game scene. And he's a
is.
good, honest dude.
But
Yeah,
Brian
like-
has been exposed. That is
Yeah,
my
Brian
I
second.
is
like
not-
Brian, but yeah, that was not
He's
a
no
good
longer a
one.
Nintendo fan. He is
He
a
really-
fucking
yeah.
Nintendo hater at this
He's a
point.
pretendo. Lol.
Yeah. So
It
anyway,
was a
enough
very,
about
very sad
that.
day. Very sad day.
So the question next, we're gonna get on to hardware. Will Nintendo mention a single thing about power specs? As far
No.
I'm not talking to like exact specs. Will they even talk about the power of the system?
No.
I mean, even if it's saying, "Hey, when you undock it, it cuts power, in half and drops these settings or whatever," anything like that from
I
Nintendo.
was-
Honestly, if they do that, they'll say when docked, it'll go to 1080p or something like.
Yeah,
think
I
they'll-
know. It's like-
they'll-
it's
they'll
like
spin
new
it to a
speed.
positive. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But if
Yeah,
I would say overall no.
Yeah, I'm thinking more. Even that would be barely count as talking specs or power.
See that, but I will say that's what I think they might do. Is they will discuss the difference if in fact there is anything to the dock, which has been guessed but not confirmed. If they confirm the dock does something to the performance of the game, yes, I think they will address that in some fashion. Hopefully, in good enough to really make people. In good enough of a way to make people really understand
Yeah.
it. And the other thing I think they might do, because again, Nintendo does this in simple terms. They don't bring out all the numbers and consonant combinations of this bullshit and that. They're just going to say, we're proud of the advanced power over the Wii U. Something to that effect. They're gonna really be proud of the fact that it's a more powerful console than their previous one. They'll talk about the fact the dock adds to your gaming experience in this way and this way, but no way will they mention actual specs, which a couple people on my last video from yesterday started talking about, oh man, if they don't mention specs, it's going to be a problem. They won't tell us Tegra this and that. I'm like, you expect Tegra talk on stage? You're crazy.
Yeah.
So here's
they will not say that word on stage.
Yeah, here's the next question. Will they have Nvidia there? A representative or anybody in Nvidia there to talk?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm not 100%.
I'm going to say no.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
I'm going to say yes.
Because maybe they feel uncomfortable talking about it.
You also remember, this is Nvidia's like first home console representative. I feel like they're going to be out there saying something.
Damn, that's a good point. That's a really I forgot.
It's not like AMD, where AMD has always been in control of the consoles for a while. Nvidia, this is their first like outing. I feel like they're gonna have somebody from Nvidia go. And if if anyone talks specs, it probably would be Nvidia. You would have Nvidia come out there and talk about the power of the Switch, and they might be the one to talk specs.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. That changes the whole power talking conversation if we expect Nvidia to be there.
Yeah.
And I still don't know that I do, but you make a really good point, Terrell. And they even, I don't know if you guys saw today, I retweeted it too from GameSpot, that they had this big old quote from one of the big Nvidia CEO guys about how fantastic he sees the Switch being, and it's going to be this perfectly Nintendo thing that's really going to capture this and that.
About to say,
so they're very proud of what they're doing.
Yeah. I'm gonna say if you chose to partner with Nintendo and do this kind of device
for the first time,
and you're not gonna get out there and show and talk about how great the product is, I don't believe that.
They'll talk about it. If they're there, they will talk about it. You make a good point.
Definitely.
So Rob, do you think Nvidia will be there on stage or?
God, I'm now, after hearing Terrell talk, I'm playing in my brain 2 different versions of this conference. And one of them, an NVIDIA guy comes out and just starts talking about all that stuff. And it feels real. It feels right when I play that version.
Because that'd be their way of having the specs talk without them having to do it.
It's true. And people will buy it because it's coming from NVIDIA and not Nintendo.
Exactly.
It would be the smartest way to do it. So damn it, I'm gonna say
yes.
Yes.
Look at that greatness. Look what just happened. That was beautiful.
All right.
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna say yes. Yeah.
On that talk, this direction we're taking, I think they will say. Do you think they'll say the screen resolution? Because all they've said is a bright high definition display at this point.
I'm gonna say no, because I think what will happen is. And I think we should remember this too, how these things play out, especially with Nintendo. In the hours and days after this, they'll release some of that information into the wild.
So let's instead of asking, what do you think eventually the confirmed resolution of the screen will be? 720 or 1080?
Yeah, 720.
I would love 1080, but 720. It'll be 720.
I'm gonna say 1080.
You think?
You overestimating people, you can get disappointed, Juice.
480.
Your overconfidence is your weakness.
And the only reason I feel a little bit like that's probably a bad choice is because they kept saying a bright high definition display. If it was 1080, I think they would have said it right away. But I just think because cell phone screens are like 1440p and above, I just don't think there's going to be much cost savings to make 720p. And I don't even know if there's that big of a difference on a 6-inch screen. All I know is on my phone, going from the lower res screen to the new higher res screen I have, I could see a great difference. I just don't know if it's maybe the technology of the screen and less of the resolution.
Yeah, I think that's the real key to that answer, right? Is where the difference in visual clarity truly comes from.
Yeah.
And I don't know if any of us know.
I think 720p personally, because that's implying to me to kind of get the base experience out of the game. And even if the game's running, because to be honest, I still think what we'll probably get is a lot of 720p 60 frame games. It makes more sense to me to just have it be a 720p screen.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about the fact that it's probably gonna be 720p undocked, and why have a 1080p screen?
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, the one reason you would want a 1080p screen is because you can tell the world it's a 1080p screen.
Yeah, and it would be better for VR.
Oh, and that.
Oh yeah, for VR, sure.
It depends
if that's there. So
yeah,
But it becomes such a great bullet point that unfortunately most of the gaming public nowadays eats that shit up. And they'll be like, 1080, it's what I care about. Now I'll buy it.
Well, yeah, because I was gonna say, well, how much more would it cost to change that? Like,
I don't know.
you know,
that to me, that would kind of go into them saying they're not going to take a loss on it. Makes me think, well, why would they? Especially if you have this whole architecture that makes the game scalable, it's kind of like,
yeah.
If it's 1080,
and I will
like,
say that that terrible Fire tablet I had was only like 720p resolution, but when I was watching the Amazon instant video of a movie, it looked really good. So
yeah, well, that's the thing is my whole thing. I think we all know and can agree that the difference on that screen between 720 and 1080 won't impact our game playing at all.
no, because
So
I mean
if
the gamepad
Nintendo-
looks pretty good.
yeah, but the gamepad's only
gamepad
4, and the gamepad's only 480.
And that's 480. So we know 720 would more than get the job done. So my whole feeling is if it would save Nintendo significant money, I would say just save the money.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I would actually want 1080 is so they can literally use it as a bullet point to get other people excited.
Yeah,
but
that's the only
like
way.
I say, if the games are getting downscaled, it doesn't really seem like it's really worth it to have.
It wouldn't
1080p
hurt to
screen.
have a 1080p screen with a 720 native resolution because
it wouldn't hurt. I just don't see that much of a benefit to it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I'd prefer the 1080, but not because I care, just because it's like, well, might as well.
I don't know what that would affect performance to have to upscale the 1080 for, that's
a good point. So, the battery life, right? The battery life.
Yeah, that's the next question. So
hey,
let's go right into it. I was gonna do an over under but then it's just like, where do you draw the line? I guess we'll just throw out, what do you think they'll say the battery life is, and what do you think the actual battery?
I don't think they're gonna say it.
Juice,
I don't think they're gonna say it.
You don't think they're gonna talk about battery life?
I don't think they're gonna tell you how long it is.
Yeah,
It might just say, they may give like vague statements like it's good or it's
it's good.
Or it's serviceable, that kind of stuff.
Is good.
I think it's gonna be very vague, and I'm gonna bet it's somewhere. I want to say 5 hours.
Oh, I don't think
so. I'm more in line to believe it'll be like 4.
I think they're gonna throw out the 3 to 4 hours, and I think 3 is gonna be the actual. If you have it on a brightness level, that looks good.
Well, that's because I think it'd be 5 hours.
Is this one of these things where it has to be brought up at the show, or do you just mean the final?
Just whenever we find out.
Okay.
Just in case they should bring it up at the show, though, I wanted to ask.
Which I think is possible. I think it's pretty possible they do. I'm gonna say 4. I think 4 hours.
I'm gonna say 3.
Damn.
I can't imagine them running Breath of the Wild and getting like 5 hours out of the thing. I just don't see it.
I'm sticking with 4.
All right. See what people are saying in the chat here.
We're lowballing. I think 3. They can't let it be as low as 3. Even though I don't even feel like that's.
They wouldn't admit it was 3 at that point. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It just because I look at stuff like our phones, the laptops, all this stuff. They go by so quick when you're playing.
If you're playing a game,
that's true.
Incredibly quick.
And that's why it's when you bring that up, Robert, and that's why it's almost unfair for people to levy this huge responsibility on Nintendo to make it 7 hours.
I know.
Well, yeah,
it's like
people
no other device anyone's using has a 7-hour fucking battery life.
Exactly. I don't get that at all. People,
but
Nintendo has to figure it out.
Anything beyond 3 hours, I would say, is pretty good.
It's fine. Yeah. If it's 4 hours, I'll be surprised.
Tablets is 3 hours.
Yeah, if you're playing a game though, I can have my phone in standby for 2 days, but if I'm playing Super Mario Run, or if it was on there on Android, I think it would be more like 2 to 3 hours. I would think. Yeah. And the original 3DS was barely 3 hours, 2.5 to 3 hours. The gamepad with the standard battery is about 3 hours. The extended battery gets you 5 to 6. But so here's the thing. There's especially in Brian Altano, he was putting so much emphasis, and that other guy, we're putting so much emphasis on the Beyond podcast about the battery life. And yeah, these guys travel a lot and stuff, but to me, the battery life is a non-factor.
But Juice,
absolutely is a non-factor.
This is also the same guy who said that apparently the frames per second were going to get lowered.
That kind of
yeah. based on all these facts.
Yeah,
Well,
where the
here's-
hell did that come from? That was pulled out of fucking.
Yeah, I'm about to say
thin
that's
air.
like, and that's not even rumor because I haven't heard
No.
any rumors on that one. So that's just random shit you made up.
But anyway,
I mean, to me, the battery life
is absolutely a non-factor, and because I don't plan on traveling. If I did, I'm sure there's an AC adapter you can
take
charge
the
it.
adapter.
Yep. Well, because they have what is it, USB-C or something?
That
called?
USB-C.
Which means that's for everything, right? So it's kind of like it's great. That means you could charge it anywhere you want.
It's
Yeah.
becoming the standard way of charging.
So
Yeah.
I feel like to me the battery life number is one of those things where in reality for most people it won't actually matter, Juice, just like you're saying. But just like the 1080 thing, it's just a bullet point people want to see, which is stupid. They're looking at it that way, but that's what it is. People can either bitch about 3 hours or they can be excited about 7 hours, and that's what people are
I was
wanting.
gonna say because most people are gonna be like Juice and not even fucking undock the thing.
Exactly.
Or they're gonna undock it, but they're not gonna stay outside holding the thing, playing it for 3 hours straight. Like this is not gonna happen.
Here, you know what? Though, here's the one thing I'm going to say. For example, this coming Friday, I happen to be taking a 6-hour plane flight, and that is if this was happening next year after the Switch had launched, I would like to be able to play my Switch for the entirety of that flight. But if we're going as low as we're saying, I actually wouldn't be able to.
well,
However,
flight,
there's probably
is
a USB-C charger thing.
yeah, is the in-air 6 hours or is
My flight?
yeah?
It's like 5.5, I think 6
Really?
hours almost.
Damn.
Yeah, I have to double check. Yeah.
I guess it is quite. It's like barely. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes from Chicago to Denver. So
Yeah,
but
they're
that-
way closer.
Yeah, that's a lot further. So
Yeah.
because their airports have a lot of plugs now that people crowd around. But
Oh yeah.
anyway,
I mean,
think-
I'm gonna be watching the Treehouse with my iPad plugged in while I'm waiting to get on my plane.
yeah.
Like that's how I'm gonna have to watch the first hour and a half. So I'll be plugged in with that, for example. So
All right, let's move on to the actual internal storage of the system. And this is a question I didn't think to ask Mezati, so I don't have his answer. I say 32 gigabytes stock internal storage. What do you guys think?
that's
See,
That is so difficult.
no, but see, to me, it depends on are the games still going to be just as big as they are on a console? Because
but
32
remember,
gigs.
we don't install games on the Switch though.
No, but yeah, that's
Not
what I'm
if you
saying.
download them, I guess.
I'm still talking
Well,
about
digital ones, though.
if you're downloading.
Yeah.
Because because I think most PS4 games are what somewhere between 40 and 50 gigs as a standard.
Or higher.
Is that still good? Is that going to be the same on the Switch, or does the Switch
I
allow
think
for
Nintendo's
compression?
gonna have to have a. They're gonna have to have a max size. I think they're just gonna have. Developers are gonna have to compress.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because I can't imagine them doing 32 internal storage if you couldn't even download one third-party game off the system.
Well, let me ask you guys this, because I don't know the answer, and maybe you guys know the answer. Is there a way to make something like a video game file compressed in different ways so that on one system, the way their game data works is a game takes up 50 gigs, but on another system, they make their data in a different way and the architecture is different so that the same game would only take up 7 gigs? Does that exist so that maybe
I don't know.
Nintendo...
You could make it probably.
Well, I mean, think about it. If the game is scalable, technically, you should be able to do something.
Nintendo
similar.
is also known for
masters of compression.
Yeah, algorithms. So there might be something in place.
Maybe it's like a part of the dev kit. They give you the tools to compress your games on the Switch.
Yeah,
because you don't have to worry because you don't have to deal with the same type of architecture as you're dealing with the other two consoles.
Because if that's not the case, then I mean I don't know if 32 works anymore. I mean,
32 would make.
I don't think 32 works at all. But
I'm saying this number with the prediction that digital, main retail titles is not going to be. Nintendo's not even going to push that or even potentially have it. That's just kind of a theory I'm having.
I can't believe that.
Because cartridges are just so convenient and stuff. I don't think. I don't know. I could be completely wrong, but I just see the space being small, and then
I just don't. I can't.
The
digital market is so big nowadays. Much to my chagrin, it's so big, and Nintendo has done even so well with it. I feel like they'd be crazy not to make that.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense not to.
I mean, they would be hurting so much of their possible market. People would be like, "Oh, I can't buy my games digitally." Fuck that. They wouldn't even be. like they can't. I just don't think they can afford to do that.
So
Well,
I'm
so
gonna
Give me
take
your guess on the internal.
I'm gonna go 128. I'm going 128.
I'm gonna take a shot in the dark and say that Nintendo has lent the developers their compression toolkit and a way of handling that. And I'm also gonna say that it's probably still larger than what I would think it is. So I'm gonna say it's like 64.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Terrell 64. Even though
Man,
I
so
do
I'm
say
the
that.
highest. Wow.
Yeah, think about this though. That
Because I
SD
mean, they could, you know what they
cards
could
are
do?
massive.
They could do what they did with the 3DS and include an SD card with it.
Well, that's the thing is the SD
Well-
cards. There's 1 terabyte SD cards now.
And that would change everything too, for what it's worth. If we were going with the no SD card option, I would definitely stick with my 128.
and
but
then
if
it
it
would
is
have to be.
upgraded-
Well, I mean, I still because we're still just talking about hard storage. We're not talking about the SD card storage.
Yeah, I'm talking just built in.
So technically, it
I
could
still
still be
think
it could still be 128, and then you have the option to put in an SD card.
I think 128, man. Unless they have the most insane compression, like I said, where on the PS4 it's 40 gigs, but on the Switch it's 6 or 7.
Even then, you're barely going to get enough games
I'm gonna say 64
because the average Wii U game was like
How much?
2, 3, 4, with a few
Okay.
exceptions like Xenoblade and Smash
Yeah.
and Fatal Frame.
Yeah,
Was like 13, 15, 18.
I'm gonna say 64 because
And plus, you got DLC. Nintendo's
Yep.
in the DLC
Yeah.
game, so
Well, and that's why I'm 128, man. I'll shoot high. I stand
think
by that.
I think there's some compression tools that work there. That's why I'm still believing it's going to be 64, even though that's not a lot. It allows them to sell the console at a because you also got to remember. Well, it also depends if we have 2 SKUs that have one that has more internal storage than the other. Kind of
Well,
like
but
how the Wii
doesn't
did.
memory like this, not in a hard drive, but like in this internal flash memory, whatever we're talking about, isn't that pretty cheap? So that it doesn't even cost a lot to include 128, or am I wrong on that? I don't know.
I'm not sure, so I can't.
well to
I thought it was cheaper to do it. That it
To
really
have
doesn't
it
cost.
in-
I'm not sure, so I can't.
to
say
have it that
anything on
small though, it's not like it's
It's
standard.
more expensive, maybe.
It's not like a standard hard drive because that's half the size of the Switch, so it's
Yeah.
small flash memory or something. So
I mean, what if it's just an internal SD card? I mean, like the 3D. I think
Actually,
Bobby
it
said,
could
like the
be.
3DS.
It could be.
You could-
and the
could put a
3DS
1
has its own memory. It just
Well, that means that they're
talk about
including
it.
that means they're including an SD card with each console.
And maybe
I
yeah,
think
maybe
it'd be-
that's what it is. Maybe
And I would think it's a 64.
maybe
That's
Terrell just hit
exactly-
the nail on the head. Maybe
Yeah.
it comes with 32 gig SD card with maybe a small amount of internal memory or something to.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's a good point because then it could just
it's
be
them because they can't expect you. It's like, well, you know, they're going to be gamers who want to buy digital on day one, so they
Oh,
got to
yeah,
include
man.
something relatively substantial. And I think 64 is a good middle ground number for me
yeah. So
because I forget
You
the
can-
3DS. The 3DS came with like what 4 gigs, I think.
Yeah, really small. I had to upgrade mine twice, and
Yeah.
before I was finally like, "Fuck it, I got to go 32."
I forgot what I even put in the new 3DS. Honestly,
Mine's
I put-
32.
maybe 32.
I think I
gonna
put
say-
16 something.
The
Yeah.
64 gigs is a really good guess, but I'm going to say, Juice, you can lock my ass in at 128. Lock it in.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
That game you were talking about, is that something you think would disrupt our flow here if we keep going, or
Do you have a lot
No,
more
let's-
still Switch stuff? Because if we should probably still keep doing
yeah,
Switch
it's already almost 8:40. We'll hold
Yeah,
that.
just
Okay.
finish it out with Switch.
stuff. That we can do it next time when T is back.
All right. So, Ethernet port on the dock, yes or no?
Yes. Everyone says no. I'm saying yes.
I
We
say
land
no.
adapter. That's my guess.
I'm gonna say, oh my god, it should, but no.
I said no. Robert says no, and Terrell says no. T said yes.
Way to go,
Um,
T. Smart man.
Here's my reasoning, and it's because it doesn't matter if you're playing Splatoon or you're playing Mario Kart online. I was talking to Red Knight, and I'm like, somebody's gonna be in the middle of a match, and something happened, and they got to pick up the thing off the dock. And what's it gonna do? Is it gonna boot you? Like if you're running off of Ethernet, whether it's the adapter or built in, what happens when you pull that off? And he's like, well, why would people do that? Well, people are going to. So would it boot them or not? So I'm thinking that the solution is just to have Wi-Fi only all the time. And then that way you could lift it up.
So
Well,
that's
it-
a really good
it-
point.
It
That's
could
a
be an
really good-
internal switch.
Go ahead.
Oh, my bad. I was saying it could be an internal switch where as soon as you pick it up from the dock, and the moment you pick it up from the dock, the Ethernet port or the LAN adapter, and it realizes it's disconnected and it just grabs
But
the
it's
near.
still, even to turn Wi-Fi
That
on.
takes time. Yeah.
10
That
seconds.
takes
Oh no, it takes time. I'm just saying that's
You're gonna
that's
get
like a
booted.
fail safe just in case.
I mean, yeah, but I'm thinking worst case scenario. I don't think there's going to be any, not even a adapter option. There's going to be no
Really?
wired option. Yeah,
That's
I'm
so
saying
weird.
that.
I think that Nintendo isn't potentially. It's all very good points, and this I'm not 100% on this, but I do still think yes. And the point you guys bring up about people picking up the Switch while it's plugged in, like, yeah, that would potentially mess things up. I feel like Nintendo isn't worried about that. I feel like the compromise would be, well, if you start your match with it docked, that's how you got to play it. You make the decision to pick it up. That's your bad. You're booted and everything's fucked.
Well,
And so people learn, oh, yeah, but I can't do that. Just like you can't pause a game when you're online, people will learn you can't pick up your Switch when you're online.
here's
You just
my
can't do
question.
it.
There is a question I have now, because if you don't believe they'll have a LAN adapter option, then and we already know that we can't hook up like an external hard drive to it. What are the USB ports for on the dock?
That's true.
Good. I mean, for charging
The controller.
the controller, and yeah, that would be.
I mean, I would think
That is no.
I would think worst case a LAN adapter, if not just an Ethernet.
Yeah,
port.
like,
one
I
of the
can't-
two.
I mean, they got like two. They have like two. I think at least on what we've seen so far is like at least two USB ports. I can't imagine that being, and considering putting it on the dock already charges it, and you can literally put the Joy-Cons on the controller and have the Joy-Cons be charging with the screen. I can't imagine.
Well, you
there
got
isn't
the
other
you got the
elements.
grip, you got the Pro controller. You're not like changing my mind. I'm dead set. Like this is my. I've been thinking this for
Yeah,
months.
Well, I'm more just questioning if the USB ports are literally. I'm more on the USB port thing in my mind, because I'm like, I can't see them that being the only thing they're used for is just the charge. Like, but that's just me though.
Well, then you
I'll
got.
say it's
an
not
option.
a lock, and so many people think that there won't be an Ethernet port. So I mean, most people think there won't be. So you're not crazy.
And
But
the
I
Ethernet
just
ports
think
could
it's
be,
totally possible.
to support a microphone for a karaoke game, or I mean, they're just going to be there. They got to be there.
Yeah, there's been
They got to have some.
There's been a lot of accessory leaks recently, all leading towards the voice chat hopes and dreams. So there is definitely a possibility, but I'm more inclined to believe that they'll at least offer the LAN adapter as an option.
Well, here's what they'd have to do then. They have to make a freaking LAN adapter and not just say, pick up the Wii one, because they don't manufacture that anymore.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's another accessory you could sell for the console. Then.
Yeah, they need, if they do that, they can't just rely on the old one that people can't find.
Well, that's true, but I'm saying
Generic one on Amazon, you got to have.
Know that they're trying to make this thing pretty accessory field anyway,
and it better be in the stores, not just online Nintendo store.
Yeah, don't do that stuff.
Yeah,
like the Wii U battery thing, like that was, forget about it.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of my that's my theory. And the external, I think I debunked that over a month ago too, just because.
Well, they said it. I remember them saying it.
Every time you lift that off, if you have games running off a hard drive, it just won't work. They just
that's just
can't
insanity.
do it. Yeah. So, all right, let me see here. I guess the final stuff's the price, release date, and if there's going to be multiple SKUs. So, and then I have a few questions, or one question to ask you guys, and then something I want to kind of a word of warning for people hoping for something. So let's go first with, will there be multiple SKUs, yes or no? And I say no. I think there's only one option.
Yes. I'm going to say yes.
Yes. I'm going to say yes too.
It's possible that there is, but I really think no. I'm going to say no.
Right. Oh, and I forgot to think that the Miiverse will be part of the OS.
Ooh.
Oh, it's so
I almost
difficult.
think that's a duh response for me.
To you and I said yes.
To me,
That's-
it's not. Oh, go ahead, Robert. Go ahead.
It's so difficult because they might just like, I mean, it could technically be like similar to it, but they might just change it. You know, they might not be called Miiverse.
Miiverse.
No, it's going to be called
Miiverse
Miiverse. It might be a revamp.
It'll be
of it,
called
but it's-
Uverse.
I'm saying, will
Or
Miiverse
Switch
be there?
Yes.
Wow, I'm gonna say yes though, just because what else are they gonna have? I guess.
Yeah, I'm about to say the Miiverse is kind of their like community
Yeah.
now. It makes no sense to get rid of their entire community.
Except
I have
that
to
it
agree. Oh,
tied
Unless
with
they get rid of
Mii's,
Mii's.
you know.
which I
They
think is
might
possible.
update it, but I don't think they're gonna get rid of it. So I think
Okay.
it'll just be Miiverse 2.0.
See,
All
to
right.
me, it's not a lock, but I do feel better about it being there than not. So I will say yes.
All right. Price of, let's say if you thought there's 2 SKUs, what's just say the highest price? What do you think the premium, whatever? I think
300.
there's only one SKU, so you want to say 300?
Yeah, 300 because I think there's 2 SKUs, so I think the highest will be 300.
Same here, 300, and then
I just want to point out you guys will be wrong when it's $299.99, and that's what I guessed.
You think that's it?
Suckers.
Oh,
Terrell,
God.
lock in at 300.
Fine,
Lock in.
Juice.
Can't change your answer.
Fine, Juice. $2.99.
But
$99?
$299.99 or 95?
$2.99.
Well, Walmart might be 95.
Yeah.
What do you
I'm
say,
gonna
Rob?
I'm gonna say 249.
$249?
I'm hoping for the lower end. I think it's possible.
Yeah, I think the
I
base
gotta
Switch will
agree with-
cost $250.
As much as it pains me, I'd agree with Colin Moriarty's take that he didn't really say, though, if you sell it for $250, then it almost seems like not a premium
Understood.
product.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, and I still agree with that, and I think 300 is very possible. So I've just
all right.
yeah.
So here's the big one. The Switch release date.
oh,
I'll tell you the tease, March 27th or 17th.
oh,
Terminator Juice said March 24th.
oh.
So Rob, I'll give you next shot. And you can say
I'm
somebody
going
else's.
Yeah, I'm going to also say the 24th.
And you know, they could switch it up and make it a Saturday or something, or a Tuesday.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Or go back to the Sunday thing. You know, they've done Sunday for so long before, but I think they're gonna stick to Friday if they're smart. And I definitely don't think the 17th because the last tours are actually happening that same weekend.
Oh, okay.
Which is not. It's still not. It doesn't totally
That's
rule it out.
interesting. I
But
didn't even think about
yeah,
that.
the last day that it's available on a tour is the 18th of March, for what it's worth, which is
Whoa.
Saturday. Just saying, it's still not impossible. It's not.
Yeah. There's another
impossible.
date I really debated with. Let's see what
31st,
Terrell's.
I assume.
I'm going to be really reckless here and say the 3rd.
What? You
Damn.
think March 3rd?
Yeah,
That's reckless.
I'm banking March 3rd.
Bro,
Okay.
God
you
damn.
pissing in
Robert?
the wind, man.
Because I think the last tour date it will be after the console's release, just to get.
But it'll
get
be the
people who
first
are-
time it hits those cities, though.
Yep.
But
Then why would
anyway, you
anyone
said
go?
your date.
People already own it.
Let's get Robert's
I
date.
hope you're right, Terrell, but I don't think you're right. For sure, because Beauty and the Beast comes out, man. March 17th. I think it's gonna happen.
It's my ex-girlfriend's birthday. I just gotta say.
The only
That's
thing
that's awkward.
I wanted it to be the 24th, but I realistically think it's the 31st because of their expectations of 2 million.
So you
At the
think
end
they'll
of the
sell 2 million in one day then, technically?
Well,
right?
yeah, because otherwise, you know, especially if it's the whole month, like to me, if it's the 31st, then it's like, oh, that makes sense then why they're only planning 2 million in the fiscal year because it's only one day.
Yeah.
And then that means they could have like another 3 million in, for the first part of April.
Yeah,
Honestly, I think
why
they're just shooting for 2 million because they're undershooting in general.
I agree with Terrell. I agree with Terrell on that.
I think they're
Hopefully
gonna.
they're
I
undershooting.
think they're just doing that just in case.
Yeah.
So that if they sell 4 million, it's like, wow,
It looks even
destroyed
better.
Our
Yeah.
expectations.
It never hurts to undershoot.
Hopefully that's not
They
their
learned that with the Wii
manufacturer
U.
numbers though.
We'll see.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah,
Well, that's why people are already talking about camping out on Friday.
Yeah.
Pre-orders.
Oh man.
If it's Friday. So, all right, here's a question I have for you guys. And Terrell, this might be easier for you to answer. What would they have to show you or not show you on the Thursday that would make the Switch not a day one purchase for you?
What would they not show me?
What would they show you or not show you that would say, oh, it's not a day one for me?
If they only showed the games that are no, I wouldn't say. For me personally, if it's just like, I guess the same within like the first release month or even the first 2 release months, if I don't get, all right, I'm pretty sure we're gonna. I don't Zelda. See, Zelda's not a selling thing for me, so maybe the Mario. See, that sucks because that depends on whether I like the Mario Rabbids RPG.
Mhm.
The Mario Rabbids RPG could be a potential console seller for me, depending on how good that game is. That game looks.
So if that isn't coming out until late.
So I'll say this: if it doesn't look interesting, or I don't get like a weird off the wall game within launch, because I mean, the only games as of right now I would even be interested in buying based off of the basic look of the lineup so far would be maybe the Splatoon port. I don't think Smash is going to be there, and Mario, and like I want at least like 3 to 5 games available to play for the next 3 months. So.
Well, what about Breath of the Wild?
Breath of the Wild is not like a system seller for me because I'm not. You know what I remember, dude. I don't play Zelda. I don't play Zelda.
But it's included as a game that you would be picking up to take up your time, though, right? Like in a collection of launch games. Wouldn't it?
That's true, but that all depends. It all depends. So I would say if I don't get if the Mario Rabbids game doesn't look interesting, maybe if I don't see like a Warriors game because that'll get me to buy it. Like a Warrior, like a Fire Emblem Warriors.
I should have asked you what it would take for you for it to be a day one. That probably would have been a better question.
Yeah. Let's go Fire Emblem Warriors. If the Mario Rabbids RPG looked good, I'm like 90% sure the Mario game is gonna look good.
And if you got Segurin Kaga.
Actually, yeah. Let's just throw that or Persona 5. If I got Persona 5, that's automatic day one.
All right. So I'm gonna take it next, and
This is
if
hard.
Zelda's not a launch title, and 3D Mario's nowhere to be seen, and it's just the Rabbids game, some Wii U ports, and some multiplats. If that's all I see, or that's all I know is coming in the first month or so, I honestly think I would wait. I mean,
so pretty much it's virtually impossible for that to happen because you know one of those, either you'll get the Mario game or you'll get Zelda.
I mean, there's no guarantee. So that's the scenario that Switch isn't a day one for me. If there's no Mario or Zelda and just multiplats and Wii U ports and the Rabbids game, which I could already tell you, I could care less about.
Yeah, I already knew that.
Poor rabbits.
So anybody have a different scenario than what I just said?
You can go, Robert, if you want.
Okay, so listen, Nintendo literally has to go up on stage and say, all the day one units are broken. Don't buy them. That's what they have to tell me to not buy a Switch day one. I'm getting it. I want to touch it. I want to have it, hug it. I need that Switch in my life. And that's it.
The hashtag Switch Life.
Hashtag Switch for life.
What about you, Rob? I'm guessing it's probably going to have to be similar to what I said for you not to get one.
It actually really is. Yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head, but I'm also in like a halfway between you and Robert, to tell you the truth, because it's really hard for me to envision a world where Nintendo makes a console that I don't want to go out and buy day one. And there's a lot of things I can put up with just to be like, well, I'll just get it out of the way and have it now so that I just have it. That's usually my attitude, even if it doesn't look super great. But this already seems pretty great. I would say that so if they shocked the world and for whatever reason said the Switch costs $500, let's just pretend that they said that for whatever reason, I would even still be like, well, okay, that's a lot of fucking money, but I can afford it, so I will go buy a Switch. But if it was $500 and had a shitty lineup, no way. If it was $500 like Zelda and Mario and Beyond Good and Evil, like, okay, fuck it, I'll buy it for $500. So if it was overpriced with the shitty library, if it does come out at $250 to $300, and I think, Juice, like you said, if there's no Mario or Zelda, and like Wii U ports, don't care about them. They will do absolutely nothing to sell me on a Switch. So like I'm gonna remove those from the conversation. So Wii U ports and third-party games, as much as I love my third parties, don't do it for me. I have a PS4 and Xbox One. If there was nothing enticing from Nintendo themselves, and or it was really overpriced, then that would probably be the only way that it would make me not buy it day one. But kind of like you were even joking, Terrell, like none of that stuff's going to happen. So I just can't envision it being that way. So I'm sure I'll be picking one up day one.
And even if like I could probably there's probably a few surprise games, even if Zelda and Mario aren't there, like Luigi's Mansion 3 or something, it'd still be enough, because I bought the Wii U for New Super Mario Brothers U alone.
Get about to say
Yeah.
that's like the bottom of the barrel at that point.
And I, as much as it pains me to say this, I didn't get a Wii at launch. I didn't get one till middle of January. And I just thought they'd be easy to find. I thought I'd just go buy one. I thought no one would be interested in it. And I wasn't even.
Boy, were you wrong.
Yeah, I wasn't even sold on it.
Well, actually, I do have one more Switch-related question, and because it was something that we didn't technically mention yet. Do you think the online is going to be?
Yeah, I seen somebody quote.
If that's going to be, if we're going to have to pay for online or not.
That tells you how much I care about online. I didn't write that down as a question.
It's a good question,
I legitimately care because I really don't want to.
All right, so how can we? Because there could be improved online that's free. So how do we want to break this into a question?
Well, think about this way.
Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
I'm going to say right now, if you have to pay for it, I would wager that they won't even bring that up on Thursday. I think that's going to show up between the Thursday event and the launch, like in some blurb about details. That's going to be really bad news. I'm just want to put that out there. I don't think that they would address. If it's free, they'll sure as shit bring it up on Thursday. But if it's not free, I don't even think they'll talk about it.
Well, here's my question. Specifically for Juice, who doesn't believe that they're going to have the LAN adapter is going to be a thing or an Ethernet port. Are they even justified in doing that? Because if it's a Wi-Fi only system, what sense does it make to make it paid Wi-Fi only?
Exactly. So I mean, I'm probably wrong. I'm just guessing with that one. But all right, so we'll just do a yes or no. Will the online be completely free on the Switch at any level?
Yes.
I think yes also.
With no paid option, no.
So you're saying if it's 100% free?
Yeah, 100% free. Yes or no?
I'm still going to err on the side of yes. And I know
I'm going to say yeah.
It's not a lock, that's for damn sure, but I'm going to err on the side of yes. I think Nintendo wants to keep
because that'll be super competitive. You give me a cheap console that I don't have to pay for online on, and I can take it anywhere I want to.
That would be. So, Robert, did you say yes?
I'm saying yes.
Right.
I mean, wait. Yes.
Free. The online will be
free. Yeah.
What do you say, Juice? What do you say?
I'm going to say no.
Damn.
Believe it or not.
You don't think so? Okay.
I think there's going to be a tier system where there's going to be an option to pay and get some extra stuff. And to me, that just makes the most sense and kind of please everybody. Yeah, you can play for free online, but if you want to utilize a lot of this voice chat and stuff, there's going to be an option because Sony and Microsoft do it, and it's so much money. And Nintendo, as awesome it would be if it's completely free and improved over the Wii
like
U.
They're leaving money on the table kind of thing.
But yeah, I think they're not gonna.
It's not impossible. It's not.
I would have agreed if there was like a 4G option for it or something that had more of a consistent internet connection. Yeah. But the fact that it's Wi-Fi is what makes me think there's no way in hell they're gonna charge me for Wi-Fi and by itself.
Yeah. All right. So voice chat, system-based voice chat, OS level. Yes or no?
Yes.
I'm gonna say no.
No.
I'm gonna say
I'm basing mine off the Switch accessories leaks. That's probably why I'm saying yes.
Which one? What was the thing?
Because it was confirming Bluetooth headsets and
that's true. That's true.
And mics, and I was like, well, why even have that as a main accessory of the console if that wasn't an OS level feature?
That's true. I'm saying yes. Then. I'm saying yes. Then.
Okay, you're saying yes.
I'm sticking to no.
No, it would be nice is if that same Bluetooth you could hook up and not just for voice chat and get a 5.1 surround headset specifically for the Switch. That's all wireless. I mean, that'd be awesome.
I think they will. I think that actually will be a part of it.
Yeah.
So I'm torn on the voice chat. Before Terrell just gave that little info, I was going to say no 100%. I'm going to say yes now. All right. So voice chat. What about? Do we want to separate party chat or not?
I think I think
that's kind of the same thing.
Okay, yeah, I would argue any kind of voice chat. Yeah.
want
What
to talk
else?
about like the notifications and stuff?
Yeah, on-screen notifications.
No, I don't think will be there.
I don't know
I
because
I
Go
think
ahead.
so. I think so. I do think I think that's one of the things that they are going to be buying into. And
now wait. Now just to clarify, on-screen notifications, you're not putting in the same boat as like achievements, are you?
Just
No.
anything that pops up
although
on
that
screen
anything that
to
pops
let
up
you
on
know
screen, I
something
guess.
happened.
I would say it probably will be, considering the Wii U was already doing that with certain games.
Yeah, I think that they will, and I also think that they should. Obviously, they need to give the option to turn them off, and a
Mhm.
lot of us will do that. But I think it is a thing that matters enough to people. If they're
I'll
creating
say-
an
I
online,
think they've
they're
built the
making an
basis
online
for it.
ecosystem, they need to do it because that's
Yeah.
just the standard nowadays. It just is.
Yeah,
I'll
I think
say-
they've essentially built a pseudo achievement system anyway, because people it's just the accomplishment system. That's what it's called on the Wii U.
Yeah.
It's just not like official, and it's not like OS level.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes. Robert, did you say?
I'm gonna say, damn it.
That's not an
Don't
option.
swear.
Fuck.
Yes, but I'm in the middle, but I'm gonna lean a little bit towards yes because
Okay.
of
Smart
what
man.
you're saying.
Smart man.
Because of peer pressure is what he means to say.
Because of facts.
All right. Final question in this category: built-in DVR function, or
No.
what do you call it? DVR game capture, I guess.
Game
Yeah.
capture.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait,
I
but
think you'll be
on
able to
what level?
stream.
On
Hey,
what
look.
level though?
And you want to know why I believe that?
Why?
Because Nvidia during the CES conference announced that you were able to stream directly to Facebook using the GeForce software. So I'm going to take a shot in the dark and think.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
even if
Switch
it's
saying you'll have the
cloud-based.
GeForce software on there?
I'm
Well,
saying
just-
you can have it could be using the GeForce
A game capture,
Lite
even
software.
if it's uploading it somewhere else to be saved.
Yeah, I think that they were already testing out that feature with the Wii U.
I guess it's kind of crazy now. I mean, it's hard for me to say 100% yes.
Here's my
But
question: if you have a
It
share
is pretty
button,
common.
I was saying, if you
There's
have
a share button. Yeah. Well, that could be photos and shit.
There's
I
no
mean,
share
I don't-
button.
That could be a Miiverse button for all we know.
Yeah.
true,
I
but
mean,
I can't imagine them not. I think even Miiverse has the ability. Well, not on. I don't think not on the Wii U, but I think on the Miiverse website, doesn't it have the ability to be shared on Facebook and Twitter?
Yeah.
Yes, I think.
And technically, like Mario Kart lets you upload clips, but I'm thinking beyond. that.
uploading previously made clips is different than a live stream. Is that what you're talking about? Like making
Well,
it live?
It doesn't
both.
necessarily have to be live. I'm just thinking, like
Yeah,
the
that's a lot
PS4,
of
you can
shit you're
say.
throwing onto the console at once.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like you could say, hey, I want it always to record my gameplay for at some point. If something cool happens, I can quickly hit the button. And
Yeah, like
have
Xbox
a
does
clip.
that. Xbox does that,
PlayStation does that too.
and PlayStation. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, that's
So yes or no, something like that.
No.
Whether it, like I said, it could just be uploading it to Twitch or YouTube as soon as you tell it to start, and then as soon as you tell it to stop. Still, that's game capture. Even
I'm
if
gonna
it's-
say.
I'm
I
gonna
think
say
that I'm gonna say no. I think that they will have some interaction and functionality with like posting to social media sites and things, but like that exact way and that extensive, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. I don't
All
think
right. I mean, and it could be a game. I'm talking OS level. There could be games that do it.
so. Yeah. Yeah,
'Cause
even
then
OS
that-
level. I don't
yeah,
think
I'm gonna say OS level, because to me that button, it just makes a little bit too much sense, and the fact that we've already seen glimpses of it.
Well, here's the thing, though: how much you'd have to have some internal memory to store footage like that as you play.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I believe the card in the system is 64 gigs and not 32.
Okay. So, Robert, I don't think I have an answer from you.
For
Will there be game capture built in?
No.
to
I
the-
was saying that no, I don't think.
Okay. I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna take a chance on that one.
Mhm. It's a big chance, a big gamble.
He's
All
gonna be
right.
my brother in arms. Just
So.
gonna
I
be
think
my
they only
brother in
have it for
arms.
specific games, like you
And
said
we've-
in Mario
Yeah,
Kart.
they'll do stuff like that. Yeah.
And I just wanted to point out too, we talked about the storage and stuff for download, but for cartridges themselves being so convenient and small and stuff, I just don't think. I mean, they're going to have people that want stuff downloaded and stuff, but I just think the small carts are going to kind of make digital even a little less appealing than it was maybe before. And for anybody that's worried about the internal storage, you know, those cartridges are all you're really going to need, and DLC isn't going to take up
all
that
much.
much, you know.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, the final thing I want to talk about, and you guys can give your opinions, and also, you know, this better be the most viewed Juices Loose podcast ever with all this anticipation. You know, we're doing our Switch presentation predictions. We got a really high live viewer total right now.
Yeah, man.
And like, I'd be shocked if this video isn't one of the most viewed podcasts just because of the anticipation.
Hashtag 1 million views.
Yeah. But while we got all these people listening, I just want to throw this out there. And I know, Rob, when the first trailer was shown, you had probably out of all of us the most concerns about power, and I think you might have gotten over some of that. But I remember OJ, and he was pretty worried about it, and then he kind of, the supplemental computing device, and kind of come around now. I think he's come way around on the Switch versus what he was initially. But I've been thinking about this, and especially after the rumor of the specs, you know, the clock speeds, and the supplementing computing device. To me, I'm just going to kind of write that off as never going to happen, unless there's only one scenario that I think it's even probable, because if you have this device plugged into your dock that just increases the power a certain percentage, then that's going to increase the gap between undocked and docked even further, and that's going to really cause a problem for developers getting games. Unless you start with the undocked, you get it there, then docked, you can bump up resolution, and then the supplementing computing device could bump it up even further. But to me, that just seems like such a risk that here you're doubling the power of the Switch with this device, but when you undock it, you're back down to even, you know, this huge drop off now. And I guess they could have it so you could plug in on the go. You could, like, if it was small enough, but then you got the problem with the fan. Needs that fan from the dock and stuff. So I just want to throw this out there. Maybe that's something they thought of and they patented it, just kind of cover their bases in case they wanted to use it. But I really don't see them doing that, like, because of what I said. It would just make the gap between undocked and docked performance be so, like, it would be like PS3 to PS4 Pro or something, you know, like that big of a jump just from undocking this thing. So what do you guys think of that? Do you think the supplementing computing device could work, or am I onto something with what I just said?
I'm going to respectfully disagree, because because of the way the Switch games in general have to be made anyway, which are scalable games. So the only thing that really changes is how big of the gap you had to scale it in between. Now, granted, it also depends on how much powerful the supplemental computing device is. Because just because you make it more powerful doesn't mean that it hits like 4K resolution or some shit, or even like 2K resolution. It could, I mean, you could just bump it up to like the power consistency of a PS4, and you wouldn't really need. It's not like I feel like you couldn't still have the game be scalable. I just don't think. I don't think it'll make that much of a difference. But it also depends on how much they're scaling by. Because the PS4 Pro type quality would also imply that the Switch dock is already 4K ready, and I don't believe. I believe that.
The HDMI could reroute through the supplementing computing device.
Well, true, but I don't think. I think if that's the case, then you essentially take the risk of the game being it pretty much being like an Xbox One to Xbox Scorpio, or a PlayStation 4 original to a PlayStation 4 Pro, where the undocked version is going to hamper. It's either going to be like a new 3DS kind of situation. Yeah, that's what I should have said. New 3DS situation where you just can't play the game undocked, and that's the sacrifice you have to make. It could be one of those situations.
I can't imagine. I feel like the base level for development has to run good. It has to run well enough on the Switch tablet.
Yeah.
It's like they had which is kind of what Sony and Microsoft are trying to say that they're doing, is they're requiring any game you make that uses pro features has to also be runnable on the standard, which we all think will probably change a couple years
Except
down the
that's
road.
already caused The Last
it's-
Guardian to only run at 30 frames on the Pro.
Yeah, that's
you
obviously a big mess. Yeah. Well, but the thing is, I don't see Nintendo making that concept such a fuck up. Like, I feel like if they implemented something similar, I feel like they would do it the Nintendo way, which is usually the way that works.
Yeah, because Sony kind of rushed into that.
Yeah, Sony, we know that they seem a little bit confused with what they were doing. I think Scorpio's going to nail it much better, and if Nintendo's doing something similar, I think they will also nail it better. So I think that you are onto something, Juice, but I'm going to still ultimately say I think that there is a good chance that there is something to the dock that affects the performance and the output of the game. I don't think it's necessarily maybe because, like, when you state the problems you have with the idea, they're legitimate problems, but that's kind of assuming that dock would add, like, insane amounts of power.
Well, yeah, I wasn't thinking, make it PS4 now. I'm thinking if you're going to have a supplementing computing device that someone's going to go out and buy, it better be more than just Xbox One to PS4 jump.
Sure, I totally. And
I'm seeing.
I feel like what the dock for the Switch might do is exactly that, though. Hence, it's not going to be something that would hamper the tablet version of a Switch game. Like, I think it's just that small enough difference to make it look and run that much better. Like how the first Tomb Raider Definitive Edition was only 30 frames on the Xbox One, but it was 60 frames on the PS4. That's the kind of difference we might be looking at between the handheld Switch and the docked Switch. And to me, that's fine. And Nintendo can sell that as a pretty big benefit too. I think that just that simple enough of a change, they can make that really appealing to people. I hope.
All right. Yeah. I don't know if Robert, if you have anything. I was envisioning an additional device bumping.
Oh, you mean
power
something
up.
different?
Yeah, I'm talking about the supplementing computing device, like the patent for this box that you plug in that could have another GPU and it would work.
I thought that's what everyone assumed the dock became.
No, the dock just bumps. The dock just has a fan. The dock is. They even said it's going to be cheap and you'll be able to. They're going to sell them separately. The dock's just a.
Oh, see, I was confused then. I was thinking that the dock could potentially do that stuff.
No, the dock has a fan that can cool the system when the GPU's running at a higher clock speed. That's all the dock adds is a fan and consistent power and a steady power flow.
Is that fact?
Yeah.
Really? Holy shit. Okay, well, I didn't know that. I didn't know that was like a confirmed thing. Because I was still hoping to like learn the mysteries of the dock on Thursday. No. I literally thought that we still had stuff.
I forget where they showed it, but it was a confirmed report that the dock doesn't add. It doesn't have processing chips or anything.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But the good thing is you'll be able to. They'll probably be under $50, and you could probably have, if you had a big enough house, or maybe you had, if you weren't living with your girlfriend or your parent, you could have a dock at somebody's place.
Yeah.
And then you just bring the Switch and dock it in to, like my friend, I could have a dock at his house, and then I just bring the Switch, and I don't have to lug everything else around.
Well, for what it's worth, then, I mean, if that's really true, and the 100% the dock does nothing else but have a fan and just put the video on the screen.
Well, it boosts the clock speed because the fan. You need the fan to cool the GPU, otherwise it would overheat at running at the full speed.
Gotcha.
So when you undock it,
that basically changes the idea of buying a separate supplemental computing device, which is what you were talking about. In which case, no, I don't think that's happening. That shows you how totally confused I was in that conversation. So my bad. If you're talking about buying, like, they're going to make a separate thing to just increase the power of the Switch, no, I don't really see that happening.
Robert, you got any thoughts?
I don't think they're gonna make a whole nother dock, that actually adds a huge boost of power. I just don't see them doing it. I think it's just gonna be, this is it. Whatever they release right now is it, and that's it until the next generation.
And I don't think the same problem would be with, here's this new Switch tablet with more power and more RAM. Then it's the same scenario. Then you have people with the original that, have this weaker system, and then you got this tablet, which is the majority of the cost. I don't see them, because I've heard I think it was on Leveled Heads podcast. They're like, well, you can in a year or two they can just come out with a higher spec tablet, and I'm like, well, that's your whole system. That's like buying a brand new system again. That doesn't make any sense. So, and then you're going to have two fan bases, with different. It just confuses it too much.
Yeah, I think they can't. I think the Switch represents Nintendo trying to be as simple as possible, and that just makes everything confusing. And that's why I don't think there will be two SKUs. Also, something Colin said that I totally agree with. That confuses the market. Make it simple, which means also don't make all these extra little things to. Mine has the power of this. Well, mine has the power of XY563. Well, mine is LMNOP. Well, who gives a shit? They just want one unit.
A game?
Huh?
A game bundle?
Game bundle SKUs maybe. But I think like different, like this one has this memory or this power, and this one has this memory or this power. I don't think that they would do that.
So yeah, the official, just so you know, the official word was the main function. This is from.
Yeah, I'm reading the article. Yeah, I'm reading the article.
The main function of the Switch dock is to provide an output to the TV as well, charging and providing power to the system. So.
Gotcha. Wow, totally missed that one from 3 months ago.
Yeah, I just know there's that people that are excited, but then they're like, well, I know, what there's that supplemental computing device patent, and they could boost the power, and I really would be. I'd just be shocked if they took that route because I mean, even
make any sense.
It wouldn't be worth it just to have a minor bump, and then if they have a major bump in performance, then it's like the undocked would have to either hold it back or it would suffer. So that's kind of my final thoughts on that. Does anybody have anything left that they're thinking before? Because we got 3 days until the Switch event. So if anybody has anything on their mind they want to get out that I didn't ask or anything I forgot to cover.
I have one thing on my mind. Can we travel to the future?
Yeah, right. Please.
I will say
I need to do it. I need it now.
All right. I was going to say this too. I have one major concern with the Switch, and maybe we can get your guys' major concerns. And mine is that there isn't going to be enough of them and you can't find the damn thing.
Yep, that's my problem.
I really hope not.
That's really my only concern.
That's why you need to be camping out on that Friday morning.
Yeah, my concern is
like get a blanket and a futon and sit out in the cold next to a GameStop.
I'm watching Treehouse at 9:30, so.
See, and I brought that up in the chat, and we talked about this a couple days ago. I'm starting to think and hope that they actually won't make pre-orders available on Friday now that they've announced the Treehouse. I thought they would for a long time, but the Treehouse to me changes that because I don't think Nintendo expects people to be sitting in front of a GameStop, but also watching a new Treehouse live stream for 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So I
you need something to do while you're waiting for the GameStop to open.
Yeah, but I don't think people are. I don't think they would expect people to be streaming that freaking data, man. My new hope now that they've announced the Treehouse, which to me changes everything, is that it's Monday after the weekend. After everyone's done the hands-on Switch stuff.
Well, actually, that would make sense because it's a holiday Monday.
Yeah, man. Do it on Monday.
Nope, I would probably be working then. I don't want it.
Robert's gonna be in the back like, can you pre-order me a Switch?
Yeah, man. Please. So, but I'll say the last thing I'll say is I'll just reiterate a bunch of the crap I've been talking about on my channel the last 2 days, which is when it comes to the January 12th thing that we're all really like talking about today. It's going to be really great, and we expect a lot of good things. But as we started this conversation off, I think it's just good for people to keep their expectations just a little bit in check. Just enough so that you're not expecting an E3 2004 frickin' Miyamoto with a Hylian shield kind of moment. Like, I don't think that's what Thursday is going to be. And I think a lot of us kind of feel that way. It's going to be pretty straightforward and business-minded, but we're still going to get some games and some really fun announcements. So I just worried that people have gotten to the point where they expect E3, and that even if what they do is great, if it's not like an E3 thing, people may end up feeling disappointed, which would almost be unfair. So I just hope people are just prepared. Just be prepared.
The translation that's going to happen is enough to turn off a lot of people. That
you got it.
A
monotone person reading, and then they will do this, and don't
forget
Mario.
Hearing a minute of Japanese and then hearing a guy translate that. I mean, it doesn't flow that great. I'm not going to sit there and say it does. I have a lot more patience for that than I think other people do. And just that fact alone tells me it's not going to be this E3 like thing.
I'm gonna say I watch anime. I'm used to that shit on a daily basis.
Well, but that's different because it's not translating stuff live. It's just you're just reading subtitles.
I wonder if they're gonna have it so that I don't know if the technology's there or whatever, that they're live, the translator's listening, and then he gets.
You're talking some
He
Star
gets
Trek
like a
shit.
minute, and then
Look at this next level shit.
and then he starts translating it, and then the video
It's a
and
delay.
audio sync
Wait,
up.
wait, but it could be just scripted. So he could just be reading a script.
That's what I was going to say.
doing,
Actually, is it's scripted.
Yeah, what's that? You know the
Man.
the side, the far when they look at the prompter.
Teleprompter.
There you go.
Well, and then that's like building off Terrell's idea, and I thought of that too, Terrell. Where if it's scripted, they could just have somebody live reading the lines at the same time the person is speaking because they're reading from the same script.
Yeah, we'll just mute Kimishima. Fuck him. We're just listening to the
Isn't that
translator.
incredible?
I actually
We're
do want to
getting
hear the guy
Kimishima.
talk though.
Actually,
Yeah.
that's the one thing I am excited about. This will be the first time
Yeah.
Kimishima is like representing Nintendo,
That's crazy.
like out in the
Kimishima is
forefront.
here, people.
I mean, I predict, again, I'm so proud of this. I predicted this like 2 days before they announced it that it wasn't going to be in English because it just made sense not to.
Yeah.
And I'm with you, Juice. Like, it's not that that's a bad thing, but it tells us so much about how this presentation is probably going to be delivered. To me, it's very telling, and it's just, we could be wrong, and somehow they turn it into a bunch of laser lights and trailer after trailer and live gameplay. And
I'm waiting
I'm
for the Kimishima memes to come out where he's like,
You mean the Mimishima?
yeah, the
Oh,
Mimishima, Mount Mimishima, Mount
Hashtag
Mimishima, man.
You're welcome, Internet.
His head, it has like a Captain Falcon helmet on it. Or some
Yeah.
shit.
Oh, that's
Hashtag
awesome.
Mimishima.
He's
Yeah,
got like
he's rocking like a
six-pack.
visor and shit. It'd be great.
Man, you guys sound like a bunch of Nintendo fags right now.
Yeah. Damn it, that's what we are. That's why we do this podcast.
I gotta give a damn at this point.
I don't know.
I just
Bring it
want Kimishima having a 6-pack. That's all I want.
Yeah, this man walking around fucking suplexing motherfuckers and shit. It's like, hey,
Oh,
what's up,
like
Kimishima? Boom.
And
Hit the
you know,
elbow.
Rob, I
Hadouken,
just
bitch.
seen you. I seen Rob commented on a GameSpot. Nvidia CEO says the Nintendo Switch will blow you away, and it's like,
So I get free blowjobs?
I'm sure he's gonna say that even if it isn't, but
Well, obvious. Yeah, there's the biz. Sure.
but still, I'm expecting, like, there's a part of me that thinks that all that BS about the underpoweredness and stuff is just all completely false. And not that it matters that much to me, but I think it would be, for a lot of people, it would be like, that would be the deciding factor that would change their opinion or tune on Nintendo and stuff. But
So I think that what they've done is, because I agree with that, it would turn, unfortunately, a lot of gamers in 2017, it will turn a lot of those younger gamers off. But if it seems like what they're doing with the Switch, based on the technology, is that they can take, with a system that's underpowered, like not as powerful as an Xbox One or PS4, but they can still get a more than adequate version of a Red Dead or a Final Fantasy or a Resident Evil running, just because of the nature of this new technology. So I feel like if they're like, oh, you know, it's less powerful than an Xbox One, and everyone's like, oh, but then they show Resident Evil and Final Fantasy and they look just as good, people will be like, oh, well, maybe it doesn't matter because they still have all the games.
You want to know what other, and it's kind of a cool thing I just thought about. I think this will also strengthen Nintendo's online community, because the disadvantage of having a console versus a handheld is that a console, your communication with people on the PlayStation community kind of is limited to either having an app on your phone or being on your PlayStation 4. But if I constantly have my console with me, you could, like, if the Miiverse 2.0 is decked out correctly, you could constantly have a constant ongoing community that's like always active, because you can literally get on it in almost anywhere you're at. And it creates kind of this I don't know what you call it, consistent community, I guess is what I should say.
Well, and that's, I've talked about this theory before, and we may still be a couple of years too early for this to happen with this console, but the idea of something like the Switch having like a data plan, that could be something I could see being paid for. They're working with DNA to create a mobile infrastructure. What if that's part of what they're doing, either for the Switch or their next big idea?
Yeah, and that's the reason why
that could be that consistent online thing you're talking about.
Yeah, because that's the reason why I didn't believe that the online was going to be paid, because the data plan would have almost told me it had to be paid to justify. But considering if it's just running off of Wi-Fi, that's just a little bit too inconsistent to justify charging people for. Yeah.
So I guess this is gonna be it for this predictions podcast. And on our final thoughts, if let's just keep it talking about the Switch. And I will start, and I'll just say a few things. One, I'm not gonna judge the undocked Switch off of some off-screen footage. I think there's gonna be like cameras looking at Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll have some kind of connection cord they can show it. But what would be the point of showing it undocked direct feed?
It would be
Maybe they will to show you the difference. I don't know. So I'm expecting like some off-screen stuff with the undocked, and I'm not gonna like judge anything off that, but I do want to remind the Wii U owners out there, anybody that's played the Wii U and was played off TV play at any point, and I was playing Shantae the other day, and it does not look as good as it does on my TV because that's native 1080p on the TV, and obviously the gamepad's only 480. But those games on there look pretty damn good. I've always been impressed with how the games off-screen look on the Wii U gamepad at 40p. And that's 2012, pretty much to 2010, 2011 technology. I totally expect the undocked games, even with the lower settings or whatever, on that small screen, I believe it's going to look freaking amazing. So that's kind of a prediction, I guess, and just something I wanted to throw out there. And I'm excited. I'm going to do off TV probably as much as I do on the Wii U every once in a while. Watching a football game, maybe it's not my team playing, I just want to have it on. So I'm looking forward to that feature. Not really the traveling part. I don't do a lot of traveling. I don't plan on taking it there. But for me, that just something I want to remind people: don't judge, especially the screen quality from off-screen footage in the Switch event. And let's hope that the rumors will subside after this. I don't know that they will, but it seems like it's just been the last month. It's just been. We thought rumor overload was like 10 months ago, but it's just been at a whole new level. And I just want people, give it some time. Maybe if you watched it the first time or something live, like I said, the translation happening, maybe it's not this exciting thing, but wait for the Treehouse and remember the trailer. A lot of people were down on it, and they've come around. I mentioned OJ. He admitted that he was pretty harsh on it at first, and he's really come around to the system. And I think it's Nintendo being, they're going to double down on their IPs, on their handheld home divisions, and you're going to have just amazing first-party games, a lot of third-party exclusives and unique experiences, and it's going to be, I think, more like 3DS library mixed with Wii U, and as the 3DS being the primary, so the Monster Hunters and the Pokemons and all those great games, they might not be there right away, but I'd be very shocked if Nintendo tries to get the casual Madden, Call of Duty gamers, the multi-plats, the guys that buy a PS4 and all they have is multi-plats. I really don't think they're even going to make an effort to get those types of gamers, and I had a discussion about that on Real Gamers podcast with this Jay guy. Jay something, I forget what his last name was.
Jay Fleming or...
No, just J with the letter J. I don't think it was J-Y. And he's a PS4 owner who only plays multi-plats, and he was just trying to say what the Switch needs to do to have him even think about it. I'm like, dude, they don't even want you, because all you're going to do is buy Call of Duty, Madden, and 2K every year. Like, they don't want or need you. They want people that are going to buy the system and then buy games, especially first party, and I just think that that's their focus, and I could be wrong, but I think some third parties will come along there. We'll get multi-plats, but getting back to the Beyond trailer, if you're not buying the Switch because of some multi-plats and you have a PS4 or PC or an Xbox One, like, that's, to me, I don't even want to hear that. Like, that's just so stupid at that point, because you're not going to buy them on the Switch anyway, unless you're traveling. I guess that would be the only reason, if you really want that portable nature. So to me, this is Nintendo doubling down on themselves, and I think it's going to be a bunch of great games for mostly Nintendo gamers, Japanese gamers, and some third-party Western stuff thrown in there. So that's kind of my take. I'm looking forward to the event. More looking forward to the Treehouse because, you know, gameplay. And there was a comment on Rob's video a couple videos ago. Why would it be? What was it? What was the word?
Oh God, how did he
Not
say
exciting, but I know.
Why would it be exciting if it's just gameplay or whatever?
Yeah, it wasn't exciting.
He's
but
like, why is the Treehouse incredible? It's just
incredible.
gonna be gameplay.
Yeah, it's just gonna be gameplay.
Like just gameplay.
That's what I want. I just like once I know what
That's
the
what
system
video
is,
games
I want
are.
just gameplay. Like seriously.
Yeah, my response to that was like, well, Nintendo gameplay is incredible.
Yeah. So
my response is, why do people watch Twitch then?
Yeah.
That's just gameplay.
Fucking serious.
And boobs.
I don't know.
And a lot of boobs.
Yeah.
But,
Well, yeah, I mean,
Two of my favorite things.
The Treehouse.
we're all deviants. It's fine.
Yep.
The Treehouse. My hype for the Treehouse is an 11 out of 10, and my hype for the Switch event is probably 8.5 out of 10. So
Y'all just saying that because he's hoping some of his favorite Nintendo.
I don't even
girls
care, dude. Until you just said that, I didn't even think about it once.
But now that you're thinking about it, that is something to look
I don't
forward
even
to.
care about who's showing it. Like,
all right, I'm just saying, it's like we're not gonna have what happens.
it could be just the guy.
The E3 where you took a whole bunch of random
I want it to be
pictures.
Reggie that's playing. I want Reggie to play the whole.
Reggie doesn't play games. We already found that
That
out.
would be hilarious.
I'd be happy with Bill Trinan and the other guys. Like, it's still 11 because I want to see the gameplay. I don't care about anything else.
Okay.
And so yeah, that's my final take. That was a long one, but let's go next to Rob.
Wow. So yeah, so many thoughts. But I mean, ultimately excitement. I mean, we're finally days away. This is the last podcast, last time anyone on the internet can really talk about this stuff until after we've gotten pretty much most of the final details, which is crazy. Of course, myself and one Mr. Robert in less than a week will also be having our hands on the Nintendo Switch at the Nintendo event. So, I mean, for me, my hype is like 2 million plus. It's pretty crazy. But you know, I mean, it's a good time. It's an exciting time. I've said this a couple of times. We're lucky enough to get brand new Nintendo consoles only every few years, and we're right here on the cusp of it, and it feels incredible. When it comes to these 2 days, I'm similar to Juice in how I'm more excited for the Treehouse than I am the 12th event. And even though I've been trying to downplay like the E3-ness of the 12th event, I'm still freaking pumped for Thursday. I'm changing my work schedule so that I can get home in time to watch it live and then, you know, make a video and just bullshit about it afterwards. It's going to be a really big deal. Even if it's not freaking glitz and glam, the 12th is going to be awesome. And I just hope that we get the good info that we all want to hear. And the Treehouse is going to be a Treehouse, which is incredible. And I can't wait to see that either. So I don't know, man. Everyone, we should just all be really excited. You know, we get to all nerd out together and be excited for new Nintendo stuff. And it's a really good time. So I'm happy to be doing this and sharing this with you guys.
And I forgot to say that before the announcement of the Treehouse, my hype level for the Switch event was an 11 out of 10 because I was hoping there'd be Treehouse stuff at that. So the fact that they divided up, and also forgot to mention, because it's so irrelevant in my opinion, is VR with the Switch. Even we brought it up for a split second. Like, to me, anyone who thinks that VR is a game changer or has any value at all to the Switch just doesn't look at the sales numbers and doesn't know. No one cares about VR other than when you get it and you want to show your friends and it's cool for a little bit. Sorry, Robert. You might like it longer than the average person, but VR is not a selling point for the Switch, because if VR was important, the PlayStation VR would have sold well. I mean, if anybody's VR was going to sell well, and maybe if it's just a built-in thing, maybe more people would use it. But still, I just think that's you definitely don't know Nintendo if you're saying VR is like a crucial thing that needs to be there for the Switch.
I mean, you got to know Nintendo's watching what's happening with Sony PSVR. And realizing, the market's not ready. We need another decade probably for VR.
So, Terrell, we'll go to you next.
So I don't need mine to be super exaggerated because it's about the same. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to just use this for a shameless self-promotion. because starting Wednesday, I will probably be Twitch streaming. I think for 3 days straight. Wednesday I will be finishing my Hero Mode playthrough with Shantae on Twitch, so those people can look forward to that. Thursday is the obvious me live streaming a reaction for my brain cut off for the Switch event. And Friday will depending because it's like 9 a.m. I think for me. I think it's 9 a.m. for me, so I may or may not stream the Treehouse footage. Then that all depends on how much Treehouse footage it is and how. Because to me, that's like my biggest thing. I'm super excited for it. I'm ready to see it. I'm ready to really have the true discussion we want to have. Because right now, this is all like the best we can do, and what we've been doing for months, and actually over a year at this point. It's just blind speculation. I don't want to fucking blind speculate shit. I want to see gameplay footage. I want to sit there and imagine all the possibilities of how Mario is going to play, or how the new Zelda is going to. Well, not Zelda because we've seen enough footage of Zelda, but just or how maybe the possible new Metroid or the possible F-Zero or all that kind of stuff. Nice. I just want to see it. I just want to see it to this point. Stop fucking teasing me, Matt. Yeah. I'm ready. We got 3 days left, and it's gonna turn into 2 days and a few hours, considering how late it is over here.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. So Robert, Switch only. Man. Final thoughts.
What? Only final thoughts.
The man can't talk.
First of all, I'm so excited. Like you guys just talking about it, my heart's like pumping. I'm so excited. Thursday, it's here. And then Friday, you get Treehouse and hopefully pre-order Switch. Saturday, I'm going to touch the Switch. Oh my god,
that's what she said.
I can't wait.
What if Obi-Wan's there? You're gonna fanboy out?
Ask him to put on the hype hat. Ask him for his hype hat.
I'm not even a subscriber to him, so I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to meet the guy, man. I'd happly meet the guy. And be like, what the like?
I'd love to meet Etika again. That'd be cool. I like Etika.
I'd like to meet anyone.
Everyone just run around screaming Joy-Con.
I'd like to meet Nintendo fangirl myself.
You're fucking weak, Juice.
I will say, I mean, I gotta say this because you've been.
We'll text you pictures.
First of all,
what kind of pictures?
I can't say that live on air.
I want to see the back of that Nintendo fan. That's what I'm saying.
I just thought about, that. We might be playing Breath of the Wild this Saturday.
You think that's a might?
Oh my god! I feel like Robert just got close on the mic and was just like,
"I did.
We really might be playing Breath of the Wild."
Yo, I can't wait.
That's the only guaranteed game I would think that you'll be playing.
Yeah, but think about it, it's gonna be legendary because then me and Rob are gonna have a video,
Oh yeah, we're gonna be collaborating.
Oh god,
it's gonna be great.
And just to let you know, people, I just want to say I have a huge announcement. I did beat Paper Mario Color Splash. I just want to say that.
Snap!
I thought you told us that last week.
No,
not last week. He sent us a message.
I beat it the day after.
He told us in the chat. Tell the audience.
I beat it the day after that time, and yeah. I mean, I just want a little go see Split and the Monster Calls on.
I was right because I said you wouldn't finish it in 2016. I didn't specify.
Yeah, well, I guess technically you got it right, but like it's an incredible game, people, and I definitely recommend people playing it. And it's
all right. Let's get back to the Switch.
Okay, so the Switch.
Go ahead and make the Switch, Robert.
Okay.
I just want to say.
What has happened here?
I don't know, but I'm gonna finish it up here and just lay out the schedule for the Juices Loose again.
No cocaine for us.
I'm not live streaming because why would you be watching? I tell you what, I won't be watching Terrell live reacting. I know you'd like to re-upload it, but I'll be watching the Switch.
Yeah, but you're gonna watch my reaction anyway.
I mean, it's a really common thing. It's
obviously.
But
I'm gonna do that too because I'm gonna freak out. So I'm
definitely not tuning.
Yeah, but flip the chair over, Robert.
It'll be 11 p.m., so I gotta calm down.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna be live streaming. I'm not gonna be watching anyone's live stream. Sorry, Nintendo Ultra, Terrell, anybody. I'm not watching.
He's
your
just a
live
hater,
stream.
guys. He's a
I'll
hater.
watch it afterwards. I'll watch your
I mean, I'm the
reaction.
same way.
I want to see some notifications on Twitter, Juice.
I don't even want to be messaging you guys, but probably will during.
Yeah,
the
we'll be
game.
texting.
Of
You know.
course.
You'll be live tweeting everybody.
So
You'll be
anyway,
like, oh my god.
Friday the 13th.
Oh snap! Watch out.
We're all dead.
It's like right now it's at 9 p.m. Eastern time, but I want to give Rob and Robert enough, time. It might
No,
be
it's
earlier.
11 p.m. Eastern time.
No, I'm talking about Friday.
Oh,
the next,
okay,
the next
that's
podcast.
well, you said p.m. Yeah.
The
Yeah,
next
but like-
podcast.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the actual event. I'm
Don't be
sorry.
ruining my flow.
Now we're just getting stupid, guys.
So anyway.
Man, we've been doing this for 2.5 hours. I can't see straight.
Podcast if it's long.
I
Everybody
can't even
quiet.
see straight.
Everybody quiet. All right. So Friday the 13th, it'd be between either 8 or 9 p.m. start time. We'll have our impressions of the Switch event and Treehouse Live, which is going to be super awesome. So that's going to be a podcast. Andre, the game idea guy, is going to join. Maybe Red Knight if he shows up this time. And yeah, we're going to talk about everything we saw, all the games, all the features, all that exciting stuff. And then Saturday, Rob and Robert get to play it. I'm sure they'll do maybe some videos there. So we'll just do the Juice Loose regular on Monday after that. And hopefully, Rob, you'll be back in town and be able to give us some time. But if you can't,
we'll be able to.
All right.
Yeah.
And then we'll get your guys' hands on, and maybe that one will be a little bit shorter because we'll just basically be repeating everything. So that's going to be the next two podcasts. I'll probably do a Juice Opinions on maybe that Saturday after. I don't know. Depends on how the conversation goes. I might have some thoughts of my own that I want to get out. So, but it's exciting time. I can't believe 3 days and an hour and a half. So that'd be 73 and a half hours from now.
Oh my
We're
god.
going to be watching the Switch event. So
Damn.
Oh man.
pretty exciting. It feels like we've come, it seems like it was just not that long ago. They announced the NX. Will be
I still
coming out in
remember the
March.
NX, man. That seems like a million
Or
years
that
ago.
that was in April that they announced the NX would come out in March.
Yeah.
And,
Something like that.
it's already, potentially 2.5 months away. So
Incredible.
from launching. So yeah, it's exciting, and I hope everybody enjoyed our predictions. I got a lot of it written down. We'll go over the results, and we'll be back on Friday, and it's gonna be awesome. So
Yeah.
everybody, thanks for tuning in. We had good live viewers, around 50 almost most of the time. So that's really awesome, and we'll see. We'll see what happens, and then we'll discuss it. So everybody take care, and we'll talk to you after the Switch event. So peace.